CaptBurgerson.
CaptBurgerson. Why have we never made the connection?
You should literally make like another Twitter account and you just take away the P from your name and then it's just CaptBurgerson.
You know what? I feel like a lot of people
We're
would
live,
end up,
by the way, so
like, misspelling.
If you don't want anyone knowing your real name.
All right, I'll just clam it now.
All right, so yeah, I guess this is it. Everyone, hello, welcome to the Hylian Gamescast episode 192, I believe. I thought it was 191, but then I looked back and seen the last one was 191, and I did the best math that our math budget would allow. So I think that's 191 plus 1 is 192 now. So we are here, and we're all great. Sadly, RMFH is being held hostage until about maybe an hour into the live stream, where he may be able to join, and we can all go from there. This is all going to be about The Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, and the gameplay preview event that a bunch of different countries had with different content creators, I'll say, or websites. And we're going to be talking about all of that, some stuff that we all noticed. I know Geek has a lot to say on this, so.
Huh?
That's a joke, because you said that you haven't seen any of the.
Okay, I was like, did I space out for a second? I was like, I thought we were talking about. Never mind, got it.
Yeah. So I guess we can start. I told Amanda I would say this earlier, introducing everyone. He's larger than life. And half as, amazing, Daniel.
You told Amanda you'd say that about me? Is that what you just said?
Well, it was a Mickey Mouse joke, where he's introducing
okay.
The one guy. I don't know his name. But yeah, so yeah.
Yeah, the one guy.
For those who may not know for some
one
reason,
guy.
Welcome to the Hylian Gamescast.
Yes, you wouldn't believe how many questions I've gotten about why I'm not, like, where's Daniel? Why aren't you on Jesse's channel anymore?
Well, you lost your shoes, right?
I know. Had to go to the shoe store and get some more food for Jesse, and then Jesse left the basement. He got out while I was getting shoes. So
there's a lot of context missing from this. I don't.
There's a lot. Well, Jesse was locked in the basement for probably like 3 years, and
Jesse lore. Wow.
Yeah. So I was just throwing some shoes down there to feed him. Like
origin story.
Leather. Yeah, but now he got out, and now he's at an undisclosed location. So
he left the door unlocked one day.
Yeah, we all slip up sometimes.
And the hunt begins.
Undisclosed location. Just don't let the Zelda community hear that, because they're gonna dox you like they doxed Zelda, Link, Ganondorf.
Oh yeah,
I remember that.
Oh yeah.
What year was that?
If the Zelda community was around when the Zodiac killer was, then the case would have been solved in an hour.
Sure.
Yes. Anyways, that's me. I'm Daniel.
Is there anything been going on lately that you would like to talk about on your channel that you would recommend people to go watch?
Dude, I've been banging out content like left, right, and center. A stream here, a video there. No, it's been good actually. I've never been so productive, other than like the last few months. Just the Tears of the Kingdom hype has had me motivated. But most excitedly, I've got a video that's coming out next Friday. Featuring probably a dozen other Zelda creators in it. So I hope people are looking forward to that, because it's going to be a good time. It's going to be a good time. It's a little send off to Breath of the Wild before Tears of the Kingdom comes out. So look forward to that. That's all I'll say on that project.
I'll have my tissues ready.
Mm-hmm.
Tissue.
I will too, especially for when I start talking. I just tear myself up.
I just hear myself up.
I'm so emotional.
I didn't expect to get the response I did when I put out the feelers for that one, actually. I was like, yeah, if anyone's interested. I thought I'd get like 3-4 people. And then like my DMs just started stacking up. I was like, oh, shoot. Oh, shoot. It was awesome.
Wait, sorry, Geek?
I actually cried the first time I recorded mine. I was like, I don't think I can use this on you.
You could have. Someone else cried. as well. So I mean, I would have been fine with that.
Holy
Is this
crap.
the thing that you
I
sent
was like, hold it
to
together.
RMFH and I in the group chat that we have?
Yeah, I did.
I seen that,
Yeah.
but like I only seen it as like a little notification thing. So I seen like the first part of it, but then whenever I went back to read the chat, it seemed like it was talking about something else, not a video
I probably
thing.
just got buried in the chat.
So I should probably go back and check this, because I was like, oh, he's just wanting to know about like gameplay or something. But yeah, so I'm like, okay,
We've been
I
being
did see-
boozled.
You've
Yeah.
been bamboozled.
I know. So Geek, for those who may not know, for some odd reason, who are you? How could people come and find you?
I am the geek is angry.
Dude, the Geek is
I am the geek apprentice who just rage quit her stream today.
Oh, you rage quitted that. Nice.
I did.
I told you, Tangle is scarier. You didn't take my advice.
Yeah,
That's true.
I've just I live stream and I do video game videos. I can't talk. Wow, I have been around
It's a
the
very
3-year-olds
hard,
too much. I'm a dance teacher for context.
thing to learn.
Well, yeah.
I've heard it
So
takes newborns about 2 years.
I make random videos, discussions, theories. They're more like speculations than they are theories. Rankings just for fun. And I love watching other people's. And I love gaming. You would never know it by the way I reacted to running out of magic when trying to defeat Ganondorf and Ocarina of Time today. I was like,
What about
nope.
the
I went
pots in the
next
basement? What about
it.
the pots at the bottom? Aren't there magic in
I
that?
got them all. I went in without. The problem is I went in without magic in the first place.
There's a
I
lot
think
of
it only
pots down there.
refilled,
There's so many pots
It only
down
refilled
there.
like half her magic
There's
meter.
so many.
I legit went through all of them. It gave me hearts and arrows and then a couple of magic
Actually,
things.
I'll be fair. I did that my first time as well, so you're not alone.
So next week I'll be defeating Ganon and Calamity Ganon because as much as I love Breath of the Wild, I still haven't defeated Calamity Ganon. If there's anything you should know about me is I am terrible at defeating bosses. I love doing the puzzles. I love the story. I love the music. But I was the youngest of 3. I watched and wrote Epona. That is what I did. And said I was a Zelda fan. And then around middle school, I was like, maybe I should actually play
then. You must love Thunderblight Ganon then.
No.
When you were streaming
No.
Breath of the Wild, didn't you not finish the Champions Ballad simply because you were like, I don't want to fight Thunderblight again, and so
No,
you
it's
just
true.
didn't
I've done
finish
all of
Champions
the
Ballad?
things so that I can have that advantage with Calamity Ganon, with at least his first form, that is. But no, I was like, I should do the Champions Ballad because I have the DLC. I never did Trials of the Sword. Sorry. Never. You don't want to see me try Master Mode. But then again, maybe you do. Maybe you do.
I think we do.
That's actually the caveat there.
The whole trick
think
with
we do.
Master Mode is like running away and avoiding all enemies on the plateau, and then you just like go get good items, and they're like, oh, okay, now I can at least
Mhm.
use some shock arrows, grab some powerful gear.
That's fair.
For the Champions Ballad, I find the really difficult ones are obviously Thunderblight, but also Waterblight's really difficult because you have
Yeah.
limited resources with that one.
I was
You
challenged.
have to be really careful with Waterblight because you can quickly run out of stuff. The other ones are easy.
Yeah.
though.
Yeah, especially Master
I
Mode.
think I did
Like,
all but Thunderblight for
mhm.
at least for the Champions Ballad, and then I was like, I know the story. I don't need to finish.
Yeah, I mean, you can always look up the memory cutscenes on YouTube. So.
Exactly. It's all
Yeah.
good. But all that to say, yeah, I play games and such. I mostly do Zelda and Animal Crossing right now, but in November I always do Hunger Games month, which I do have a reaction video going up sometime today, but it's probably going to get copyrighted because it's not Nintendo. It's Lionsgate, reacting to the new prequel trailer. But I have a video coming up this Tuesday as well, in honor of the last 10 days before Tears of the Kingdom. And sorry, I am moving. And it's taking a toll on my mental health.
That's an impressive.
But that'll be
amount of
my
boxes.
first stream of Tears in the Kingdom. Will be in a new place.
I'm sure your pets love all those cardboard boxes in the background.
My cat does.
Yep.
Make sure you double check each one before you load it into the truck.
Yes.
Yes.
Make sure the cat's accounted
She's
for.
already jumped into a couple, and then she looks me and meows, and I'm like, Navi, get out. Yes, her name is Navi.
Okay,
That's
so
awesome.
we have Navi, Midna, and what was yours, Fred?
Mine is named Yoshi. I did not name it though.
Yoshi.
My sister did, even though she's not a gamer, which is really odd.
Your sister's
Also,
good taste then.
it's a she. It's she. My cat's a female, which is funny. We thought it was a male when we first got it.
It's like, yo,
I mean, Yoshi's
over
like-
here. Come get her.
Yeah, Yoshi is not. Yoshi can be anything.
Putting the she back in Yoshi. I had that actually too. As I had a cat growing up named Gemma, who was a male cat. So it's the opposite thing. But we all thought it was a female because that's what the vet told us. And then a few weeks later, we're like, you know, Gemma's got some bits that most female cats don't have. So, to my knowledge, but the name had already stuck. Like he already knew his name,
Yeah.
so he was just Gemma, the boy cat with that name. So
All right.
that's fine.
Fred, since we're already learning a little bit about your cat, why don't you go ahead and tell
Yes.
everyone listening who you are? I think this is the first time that you've came on before.
It's a big pleasure because I've been definitely like keeping track of your channel for a long time, and I'm like, dang, I finally got into it. What?
Thank you.
So my name is the Bread Pirate. Most people call me Bread, and I make videos like everybody else about The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. My thing that I do a little bit special though, is I mostly focus on history and facts and trivia with the game, such as the video I just put out today, like an hour 50 minutes ago, about 26 useless facts in Breath of the Wild. So that's the kind of stuff I do. If you like facts, you like trivia, you like that skits in your videos, and that's my thing. That's what I do.
I like useless things.
I do like useless things. It's reflecting myself in my videos.
I think everyone knows my favorite type of videos to make, even if I'm not making a video. Daniel knows for sure because I'll message him. It used to be a lot more than lately, but I would message him a dozen times throughout the day and be like, did you know this? Like this random interview that's in Japanese from this magazine 20 years ago about Twilight Princess. And
It is
like,
immaculate. I love it when that happens.
yeah.
Oh, yes.
NPC, for those who may not know, would you like to go ahead and introduce yourself as well?
Yes, hello. My name is William. I go by NintendoBlackCrisis on YouTube. I mostly do content on The Legend of Zelda. Lots of it is with Tears of the Kingdom. Majority of it is theories / lore, but I also do sometimes make occasional videos about like Mario Kart, Paper Mario, a couple other things. So I am so excited for Tears of the Kingdom. It looks so good.
Yeah, I think that gets us into everyone's already introduced themselves. So I will be adding links to everyone's Twitter and YouTube channel after the podcast is over. But I guess we can get straight into it. Our main topic of the day is Tears of the Kingdom, the gameplay presentations that a lot of people were lucky enough to be able to attend. And some of us, I think I've seen a few memes, one particularly from you, I believe it was 𝗵𝗵𝗴𝗄, about being like, oh, everyone, like being a Zelda content creator, and then it's like not being invited to the Tears of the Kingdom presentation.
Hold up, let me... it was that Star Wars meme where it was like, you're on this council, but we do not grant you the title of Jedi Master. But instead I say, you are a Zelda tuber, but we do not grant you access to the Tears of the Kingdom previews. This is outrageous. It's unfair.
Take a seat, young YouTuber.
But we're going to give copies to people who don't know much about Zelda.
I mean, that definitely does happen. There was a bunch of actually there was a lot of confusion that went around because there was a couple of people that I knew that had mentioned that they had just signed NDAs, which again, I guess you can't really say. But yeah, there was a couple of people that I knew that had mentioned that they had signed NDAs for Tears of the Kingdom, and then there was a bunch of people on Twitter and Facebook and a few other places on Reddit and stuff that were like, oh yeah, there's a bunch of leaks coming out of people, blah, blah, blah. And I hadn't kept up with all of the, because Japan had some ads over there that we didn't have over here for certain gameplay. And I watched one that was like, it was around 30 seconds. And I watched about 10 seconds of it and I was like, wait, I haven't seen this before. I don't know if this is going to be an actual spoiler or something Nintendo put out. So I clicked off of it. And I put out a warning, and then everyone even never mind. A couple of people messaged about basically being like, who put it out? Who said this? Who did that? Whatever. And then I was like, I have no idea. It was just like, I literally typed in hashtag Tears of the Kingdom in like the Twitter search thing, and I seen gameplay that I hadn't seen before. So I assumed it was this. And then after I put some thought into it, I was like, it could just been an ad. So I deleted it, but I kept up the one about watch out for leaks or spoilers, just as a warning.
Yeah, I think the only commercial leak was the one that have recently officially released, where you saw Link was shooting an arrow at a flower, and it was underground because it was negative 500. Because that was that source for that was Reddit.
They did not take the Reddit video down.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. You know, but it was also obviously unfinished because I believe there was like 1 or 2 extra clips in the actual final commercial. But as far as I know, that's the only commercial that's leaked. And obviously now we can talk about it because it has been released.
Yeah. It's funny too, is I made a video and I mentioned it and I was like, oh yeah, you know, I there's this leaked ad. I'm not going to show any footage from it because it's leaked. I don't want the Nintendo ninjas after me, because I actually had seen other people have their stuff taken down for including it. And then like 3 days later, the ad actually aired. And I was like, well, okay. I could have included this, or maybe not. It could have included this. I could have waited 3 more days to publish that video and included it then. But alas, also, it's out now, so free game.
Everyone who is watching, if a random RMFH or a wild RMFH joins the podcast later on, he is currently in line at Best Buy or on his way home from Best Buy or in a gang war of Nintendo fans trying to get their hands on a copy of the Nintendo Switch Tears of the Kingdom OLED. So he may pop in and he may not. We don't know.
He will be missed.
It's like looking for a shiny in Pokemon. So possibly expect that. I don't know. But yeah, I guess we can already move on to the topic. In case anyone wasn't able to guess just yet, I guess we can start with you, Daniel. Tears of the Kingdom, the new gameplay. Was there... And Geek has not seen any of the... Actually, I'm not even sure of what all Geek has seen. She's been trying to stay away from spoilers, so maybe not tell everyone like the first boss is Phantom Ganon, but
right.
Yeah, leave that part out.
Yeah, leave out.
Don't tell them about the Tingle part of the game either.
Yeah,
She's that
obviously Tingle being
that whole quest line. Won't talk about it
because they had that. You have to re-elect a new king. We know the old one's dead, so
what
about Tingle being the new king?
What about
the part where there's a short playable section, right? With Zelda, Zelda being playable,
playable section, yeah, of course. That's definitely off.
Yeah.
Okay, but Daniel.
Oh darn, we
As
just
long as
said
there's
it.
no dead hand.
Oh right, we should not mention that either. And
no, that was my favorite part of the last podcast when we had everyone on the last one. I think we had 5 people on it as well. But yeah, that was one of my favorite parts of the last podcast because we were like, what would a dead hand look like in Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom graphics?
Horrific.
I know, it's like you just
Nightmare
drop
fuel?
your Switch
That's
in
what you need to know.
you
That's
don't
what
even
it
drop
was
your Switch in the
like.
trash. You just drop it in like the garbage disposal, and then it just.
I like how we still haven't even seen like the Redeads in action.
I know.
That's
Right?
like I can't wait.
Just aside from the one trailer.
I need to know what their scream is like because Wind Waker versus Ocarina of Time, very different. Very different.
Yeah. Also, Daniel, I know I said we would get to you, but I lied. It's what I do.
All right.
Taker610 had a $2 super chat that I seen earlier, but I was too dumb to get to. It says we can credit
Super
everything
chat.
Zonai and Tears of the Kingdom to NBC vids, and I would say you could credit it to him.
A lot of
maybe
people.
Zeltic, Larulian Historian really is a I'm afraid
He's a savant.
I'm afraid after Tears of the Kingdom releases, if we don't get like a third game in whatever this sequel trilogy whatever you want to call Age of Clams, then he's just going to like have withdrawals, be like, more Zonai, more Zonai.
Honestly, he was like one of the first people to actually take an interest into it, because like I had known a very small amount before my like big Zonai videos I did, but honestly, my interest as well, it was like others. It was way more when we got the sequel, because then it's like more content. Are they going to show off more? But yeah, like a lot of people made videos on the Zonai, and I have a feeling that to some extent Nintendo was inspired by that. Though I'm sure they did already. I'm sure they already did have like a sort of a general idea, you know, because when you craft a world with a game, even if there are certain parts of it that aren't shown in the game, you still have that world building in your mind. Like, okay, so we're not going to show much of this, but you know, if we did later on give more information, this is the general idea we'll go with. So,
but I think there's more truth to what the super chat from Takers is saying than I think most people would realize, because I made a whole video. I was a collab with HG, talking just specifically about this, how like with Breath of the Wild's development, like we all know, it's like the Zelda developers have taken fan feedback basically through every entry. You know, well, Wind Waker's too cartoony, so they come up with Twilight Princess. Skyward Sword's too linear, so they come up with Breath of the Wild. And then with even Breath of the Wild's development, we got so, as a fan community, fascinated with like the Guardian, that they literally changed the game's story partway through development to include more Sheikah technology.
Oh, really?
So you look at so like in 2014 and all the gameplay demos, the Guardian is the only piece of Sheikah technology in the game at that time. And then we, like the fan community on YouTube especially, we were like picking apart like, oh, what is this enemy, this 𝗙𝗵𝗏𝗏 enemy, you know? And we got so fascinated with it that they started including more Sheikah technology, and every time they showed the game more, oh, suddenly now there's a Sheikah slate, oh, now there's these new shrines and towers, and then by the time the game comes out, it's like the whole story is like revolving around Sheikah technology. So I think by the same token, because when after Breath of the Wild was released, we were so fixated on the Zonai, I think that they in turn based the sequel off of that, in the same vein of thinking, like, oh, this, like, people really want to know more about this, so we're gonna build the whole story around it. But it does make me wonder what the original story for Breath of the Wild was going to be like before they changed things.
I as well. The Guardian direction was a little bit nah for me. I don't like sci-fi being mixed so much with Zelda. I kind of like it keeping medieval fantasy.
It was I thought it was so cool, but I do wish they would interact with the environment a bit more. Like in the cutscenes, we see them crawling up the buildings.
That's true.
Yeah, imagine thinking, oh yeah, I'm still on the plateau, and then you just see it start to climb up.
Even like the petrified guardians we see around look like that's what they were doing, like climbing up the citadel and stuff like that. Yeah,
we were robbed in a way. But yeah.
Nowhere
that's
would have
a
been
good
safe.
point. Even that trailer in 2014, like the very first Zelda Wii U trailer, the Guardian like chases Link, it like breaks a bridge and stuff. Like it's way more dangerous than they are in the game. You know? Yeah. What could have been? What could have been?
The piano music still inflicts fear, though.
I do like how the only other thing though in that shot was like a pair of Zonai ruins.
That's true.
That's the thing. That's the thing that people forget. We literally had Zonai ruins in the very first shot.
I've never realized that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's so true.
So like that's another thing where
it's not
like,
even the same Hyrule anymore. That's like a completely different version of it, and it still has the Zonai in it.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's just another one of the things I think, like, that's why I believe that they did have some sort of, you know, thought process put into it before the whole Zonai hype. But yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, you're so right. They're everywhere. Everything is Zonai. They're in our walls.
We have a super chat
right behind you. Don't turn around. No, sorry.
Another super.
I'm sorry to interrupt you guys. So if you have a question, I forgot to mention this at the beginning, but if you have a question and you super chat it, it will be immediately answered, or as soon as we can without interrupting everyone. But Daniel's on here and he's used to it. So
yes, interrupt me if I'm talking too much, please.
No. Everyone remembers friends with friends. So At least 2 people remember Friends with Friends, you and me.
Friends with friends.
So, yes, Jason Perry says for $1.99, do you think Tears of the Kingdom will sell out or outsell Breath of the Wild? Dyslexia came in there. For everyone else, if you do have questions, if you can tag me or tag Daniel, or I guess just tag anyone, that way later on in towards the end of the podcast, when we do end it and go over the live Q&A for our Zelda mailbag, we'll be able to answer them, or you can save it until then. But if you want your question immediately answered, you can super chat and we'll try to get to it as soon as possible, or whenever Daniel starts talking. So it sounds so rude. No wonder he quit the podcast.
Some things never change.
No, so yeah, do you guys think Tears of the Kingdom will outsell Breath of the Wild? I say no, because Breath of the Wild was a launch game and it's had this entire time to carry over on its sales, plus it had the boost from like a few million on the Wii U, or a couple million, I don't know. And then
besides, like, how it can't, because you have to have the base game to play the DLC, right? So since Tears of the Kingdom is just DLC, you know, you have to, I'm sorry.
No.
I'm sorry. I'm joking.
I thought we went over this. I thought it was done.
I'm joking.
I legit you got me there. I was thinking like, what DLC? What's he talking about? I'm gonna go off on a limb and say yes, it will outsell Breath of the Wild.
That's all I'll say as well.
I think it'll be pretty similar. This game is going to have a lot more in it, so that'll excite people more. But it's got the $70 price tag, which holds it back. But more people own Switches, which like brings it back up again. It's just, I think it's just going to be about the same.
Okay, and look at it this way, right? When people are thinking about playing a game, they're now not going to buy Breath of the Wild. They're going to go to Tears of the Kingdom and skip Breath of the Wild. And it also does make you worry about if players won't want to replay Breath of the Wild, because I'm sure feeling like I don't want to go back to it after getting Tears of the Kingdom. Yeah. But yeah, so at that point, all of a sudden, people who want to play that are just going to go to Tears of the Kingdom, you know? Yeah. And they might be worried about story, but they might also look online and notice the criticism, how there wasn't much story in Breath of the Wild, to be like, oh, okay. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's my line of thinking too, is just like the idea that like there are people, Zelda fans, who weren't sold on Breath of the Wild because it was like, oh, well, they didn't have all these classic elements or whatever. And I think Tears of the Kingdom is going to bring those people around as well, and bring in all the casual fans who were brought in by Breath of the Wild, and of course all the really hardcore fans who will just buy it because it's Zelda. And yeah, I think it'll do at least as well as, if not better than, Breath of the Wild. And its pre-orders already outpaced Breath of the Wild's pre-orders. So,
thanks for adding that. I was going to say that, but you took it out of my mouth.
Sorry, Brett. I'm the pirate now. I stole it from you.
Yeah.
Oh,
I have nothing. Can't have crap in this place.
You're just the bread sailor now. So
it's ridiculous. I'm just the bread. I don't even get the pirate part.
Just the bread.
Well,
let's get this bread.
As we know from Majora's Mask, I'm not sure if anyone is aware of this part of the lore, which is 100% accurate. I don't care what you tell me. The pirates in Majora's Mask were at war with the beavers. So that's why I'm not a fan. No, wait, were they otters?
Wait, what?
What?
They were beavers.
They are beavers, I think.
Yeah,
they
are
beavers.
War.
They
are beavers.
with each other. And also,
I can totally get behind that they're at war, and then the Zonai were caught in the crossfire. Yeah, that makes total sense.
Yeah, the Zonai were,
and I should know. I'm one of them.
BRB typing up Zonai Part 3 right now. This is interesting.
There's a reason that the 3 animals are like a dragon, owl, and boar, and not a beaver. Just putting that out there.
God.
Yeah.
What are the chances we get Loftlings in Tears of the Kingdom? Says Nintendo 64.
I was hoping, you know, the shot with the title reveal where Link was like running across and diving down after opening those doors, or, you know, it cuts to make it feel like it's the same shot, but it's different. I was so hoping that he was about to like whistle and call Loftwing there, but he didn't. And given we have like the stone gliders and everything else, yeah, I don't think we're getting Loftwings, which sucks, but that would be so cool.
I still think we are. Yes. It's really weird this time. Nintendo has not mentioned it yet, but With Breath of the Wild, I think they were just trying to go all out because Breath of the Wild was so much different than any of the previous games. And the previous game before that was like Skyward Sword on their most one of their highest selling consoles, and they were like, yeah, of course this will sell out. It's the sequel, successor, whatever, to Twilight Princess, which was our best selling, and now there's 100 million Wiis out there. Of course this is going to sell super well. It has motion controls. Why wouldn't it? And then it turns out it didn't, specifically because it had motion controls. So my thought was they were literally trying to do everything they could to promote Skyward Sword, and not Skyward Sword, I mean Breath of the Wild, which is why it was cross-compatible to, which is what also kind of made Twilight Princess so successful, because people were like, oh, I could play this on the GameCube, and I can also play it with motion controls, widescreen. And then there's also the, it looks like Geek is frozen. She's just been...
She's pulling a Drax and just staying so still.
Also, that reminds me of something in a minute. Your shirt matches your chair perfectly. Which reminds me of something I have to say.
Oh, dang!
Yeah. See, she's camouflaging.
Matches his too.
Nobody's going to bring up that my chair matches my mic. This is ridiculous.
It's beautiful.
I know. I worked so hard on this, and nobody's going to bring it up.
NBC also.
You know what's funny?
Yes, thank you.
That's true. Brad, you're
Daniel,
like just the wooden
too.
like wall and door
Jeez.
behind Brad. You look like you're actually on a pirate ship because of the just
You
like that wooden door behind you.
No, he's on a pirate. He's on a pirate train.
You look like you are actually a loaf of bread.
You do.
You.
It's
Thank you. Do I look crusty right now? I was working really hard on that this morning.
freshly baked,
No, you look
fluffy
toasty.
I like
white bread.
sourdough. I love sourdough.
No, with the yellow on the shirt, at least it looks yellow in the lighting. You look.
I was meant to be tan,
You
but
look
like, I mean,
banana
yellow and
nutty.
tan are basically the same thing.
You look banana nutty.
Ooh.
Banana nut loaf.
My
Banana nut
personal favorite.
bread.
But no,
I'm more of a rye kind of guy, or something really grainy. We're just gonna have a bread.
Is my favorite.
Yeah, no, I love seedy, grainy bread. You know,
CD.
something.
Okay, so before this
Oh, the
turned
Lockwing
into
thing. Wait, I had stuff to add to that too. Sorry.
Continue before we end.
Were you going on with the
podcast.
Lockwings? Were you going on with the Lockwings or
I
no?
was, yes.
Okay, sorry. I didn't know if you were moving on or not. And I was like, wait, no,
I was about to say, moving on from the Loaf of Bread podcast, which you can only find here on the Game Over Jesse channel.
You're stealing my stuff.
I thought the Loft Wings with Breath of the Wild, with Breath of the Wild, I thought like Nintendo had worked on it for so long. At the time, it was like the game that they worked on the longest, at least in the Zelda series. And they also had like Monolith Soft and a couple of other tiny bits of other subsidiaries that they had working on the game. And it was the first with voice acting to put all this work into it. So, of course, they would announce DLC before the game comes out, because it's like we need to make as much money on launch day as we possibly can. So they had all of the amiibo, the huge, like everything they had revealed at E3. They had tons and tons of gameplay and presentations to show off, like, yes, this is a different type of Zelda game. No, it doesn't have one-to-one motion controls. You don't have to worry about it. Don't be afraid to go try it out yourself. And then they have the DLC, which is, like, they even include like day one DLC, which it wasn't day one DLC with this Tears of the Kingdom, but they do have maybe it's downloadable content. I don't know. It's like you can, like, if you pre-order it, I think it's pre-order content, or is it DLC? Like, you can dress up in like that traditional weird Zelda fan attire.
Yeah, the Nintendo shirt, right?
No, it's a Nintendo shirt, but it's like a Zelda shirt, isn't it? For Tears of the Kingdom.
No, I don't think so.
What? No, what?
I'm lost.
Daniel, you're muted.
Yeah, you're muted.
Yeah, Daniel, you're muted.
I'm so sorry. I didn't want you to hear all my my mouth sounds. But anyways, no, that was fake. That one you're talking about, Jesse.
Are you
that was
serious?
I'm
that was a
sorry,
mock-up.
Jesse.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
It was on
because they released the free DLC they had released was I think the Xenoblade stuff.
Yeah, Xenoblade was
And-
real, but that was like shortly before the actual DLC came out. Yeah.
Yeah, and then there was a Nintendo shirt. I think that was a part of the paid DLC, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, that was day
it was
one
like a
download
DLC
Right.
bonus.
with some
Yeah.
of the X treasure chests that you could get
Yeah, but I think that's all there was.
for Breath of the Wild.
But the one
yeah.
for Tears of the Kingdom that you're thinking of, it's like the khaki shorts, cargo shorts, and then the green shirt with the Hylian crest. Yeah, that was fake. That was a Redditor mocked that up and posted it, and unfortunately,
Well, I
not a real
invite on the
thing. As
podcast
hilarious
next.
as it is, very funny.
He's going to
if
receive
that,
my next invite to the podcast.
How did you mock this? Yeah, a very funny one though. Very
Yeah,
funny.
I actually did think that was real because like
Sorry,
so many
Justin.
people. No, I seen like so many people. Excuse me. I had a heartburn really bad last night, so I've been eating like a bunch of Tums or antacids to get rid of the heartburn, and it's causing me to be really gassy. So if I burp, I completely apologize. But yeah,
There is no forgiveness for that. That is the unforgivable sin.
I mean, you might as well shoot
Nope.
me in the head with a light arrow. So.
But not an ice.
Don't talk to me about light arrows right now.
Yeah, I know that.
Dude, my magic, not the power of my Triforce.
But there's, I don't know if some of you all know, Daniel and I Know Geek are both aware, if only because I've mentioned it a billion times. But a couple of years ago, there was interviews with the new president of Nintendo and even some of the other people, where they said they would be putting a big focus on downloadable content on some of the upcoming games and online support for their Nintendo Online service, and then they would even be going backwards and putting for their major games free.
But we never got Mario Odyssey DLC.
Yeah, we didn't, but they went back and like for before the newest Mario Party game released, they added free online multiplayer, I think, for like the previous Mario game. So
Took forever to do that.
Yeah, so they did go back and they added in like free DLC, but it was all in support of their online thing. They were like, well, yeah, we're going to put a big focus on DLC. We're going to put a big focus on our online options. And the dog is sniffing the floor for some reason. So if you hear that, I apologize. Bree, this is all your fault because you asked me to bring him down here. So if you hear dog noises, it is not me.
It is him.
Thank you for clarifying. That would have been confused otherwise.
Yeah, I know. Got me off topic for a second. So I think like with that big push and with Breath of the Wild's DLC actually doing really, really, really well. I don't remember the exact numbers, but I think the DLC sold close to the amount that Age of Clams sold. And as a reminder, which is going to break everyone's heart that hasn't heard yet, Age of Clams, a spin-off game, sold more than Wind Waker and Wind Waker HD together.
Oh, tragic.
In its pre-order phase.
Really?
Yeah, only the
There's the more tragic figure, which is that Link's crossbow training outsold Wind Waker.
yes, but
That's also really depressing.
the
Ew.
pre-orders, the pre-orders of Age of Clams outsold the entire sales of Wind Waker. The pre-orders.
It's not fair.
Man,
Age of
Wind
Clams.
Waker must have sucked. Holy cow.
Yeah, no one likes that game.
Yeah, that game is just terrible, apparently.
Koei
That's
Tecmo,
trash.
Koei Tecmo must be real happy about that. They're the ones who made it, right?
Yeah.
They're the ones.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Koei
it must
Tecmo,
be real.
they had Team Ninja was the ones that worked on it.
Right.
Which is because it, like Breath of the Wild did really well. Its DLC did really well. Age of Clams did really well, especially in pre-orders, as we just talked about. Its DLC did fairly well. So I would imagine if DLC for a spin-off that doesn't even play like a normal Zelda game did so well, then it's obvious in my mind that Tears of the Kingdom's also going to have DLC, but instead of releasing it the same way they did with Breath of the Wild, I think they're going to release that later. And to get back to the original point that Brett is waiting on, Loft Wings.
Yeah. Ooh. So you think Loft Wings will be added as later DLC then?
If not, just something that you can get in the game itself. And then
Well, I
the
think
reasonable
if
debate-
there's got to be some reference to it because of the Sky game, Loft Wings. They've been around since ancient times in some capacity, so they got to be somewhere, right? They haven't gone completely away. That'd just be depressing. I think it might be funny if they added a DLC where you could get a cuckoo that is colored like a Loftwing, and you could summon that with an amiibo. That would be hilarious instead of a parasail.
So for those who did not finish Ocarina of Time, not saying that anyone here has not finished Ocarina of Time, but I was watching Geek stream earlier, and she still had the cuckoo that was part of the side quest. And
Yeah,
I'm
I
like-
never finished that.
And I'm like, you should just be able to like throw that at Ganondorf, and then if he attacks it, all the cuckoo just swarm him, and then it's an instant
And he's
win.
doomed.
Yeah, which you can't
Which,
do in Breath of the
speaking of
Wild.
Loftwing references, you know who I thought was. Everyone else talks about like, oh yeah, Loftwings were gonna appear. My first thought was, where's Groose?
Oh man. Tragic.
Yeah, we're all rooting for that too, but like he's dead. But
Yeah,
Bruce on the
Groose-
loose.
We need
Groose
a
is the
reference to
great-grandfather of
Groose.
Ganondorf.
I want his skeleton, but it's like on a throne because he actually went out and created Groose Land. That's what I want to see.
I want to visit Grooseland.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
Groose-
Zelda went back in time to get Groose specifically to
Where do you-
build a new
Yep.
the Groosinator Mark II to fight the new Ganondorf with.
How do you think
all
Link
coming
was
together.
able, how do you think Link was able to learn how to use Ultra Hand to build contraptions? Groose taught him.
This was
Groose
not the-
is the
yeah.
Zonai.
This
There
is
you
not the
go.
way the podcast. This is not the podcast I imagined in my mind when I was like, okay, yeah, all these people are going to be on here. RMFH might
This is
join
what
in the
always
middle of it,
happens.
but I think it's better because Groose
This
is
is
mentioned.
better than we could have imagined.
Yes, because
More
Groose.
powerful. than
But
we ever could
I
have
sincerely think Groose is one of the ancestor of the Gerudo, which means
The Groose.
maybe
That is
maybe
that is a
Zelda-
popular idea.
Yeah, so maybe Zelda herself was like, Groose, you're so amazing. Only one of you can exist at the same time. So we're going to assume you die before you turn 100.
think-
So before your 100th birthday, you're going to die, and then a new one's born. And there you go.
And thus he was
What happened
exiled
is-
to
is,
the Lanayru Desert, which turned to the Gerudo Desert.
Oh no! He touched the
But first it was
Triforce when
the
Link and
Groot-
Zelda
no.
weren't looking, and he wished. He said, "I want to be surrounded by women for the rest of my life."
they-
But he didn't leave any specifications on how that would work.
What was the
Actually,
Skyward
what
Sword
is
Desert? It was the
Lanayru Desert, yeah. in
Lanayru.
Skyward Sword.
I don't know why I was thinking of like Lebrina or I don't know, but yeah,
LeBron's Desert.
the Lanayru Desert. Groose was so amazing, they just completely renamed it Groose Desert, and through different accent changes over the decades, it turned into the Gerudo Desert. So the Groose
What about Gerudo
Desert
Dragonfly?
turned into
I-
the
Gerudo
Desert.
Dragonfly.
How does the dragonfly fit into all this?
Come on,
However,
Jesse.
Groose-
Oh my
however,
God,
Groose-
it's a
however,
Basic war.
However, Groose wants them to fit in.
He changed his name to
Hold on.
to Gerudo
just for fun.
just to match the Dragonfly.
Anyways, DLC.
Yeah, DLC.
DLC,
Brett, I think you
Loft
had-
Wings.
No,
Absolutely.
yeah, Brett.
I absolutely believe that
I
there's
think you
going
had
to be
something
like
to
some
say about-
DLC for. Oh, sorry.
No. I think Brad had stated first that he had stuff to say about the Loftwing, and then we can get to you, NBC.
Oh, that was what I had
Alright.
to say. It'd be funny if it was a cuckoo. Like you actually got a cuckoo instead of a Loftwing, but it was colored
yeah,
like a
yeah.
Loftwing, and that was the DLC. Because you need it for paragliding, or maybe it's a special one that could last longer, or something like that.
That's the DLC, and it costs $30.
It's a golden cuckoo, like in Twilight
Exactly.
Princess.
Well, it's funny because then on used concept art for like Breath of the Wild's creating the champion, you literally see Link riding like a cuckoo. There's
Oh,
no
that's true.
context, so either it's like a big robotic one or he's like Minish size.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways,
Just confirmed.
I love this.
I absolutely think that it will get DLC, or they'll have so many ideas it'll end up being a trilogy.
All right, before we
Make
get
it
to-
another game.
No.
Before we get back to you, NBC, new theory. All the Sky Islands, just dust. Just dust floating in the wind. You're Minish sized. That's why.
I'm so happy I'm on this
Dust particles?
podcast. I have been enlightened to the truth of 𝗏, the Gerudo, Loftwings.
Skyland's just dust floating around.
Yeah.
You just grow a lot as you fall to the
That's
earth of
why-
Hyrule.
That's why only
Yeah,
the kids
clearly.
could see them, because their eyes were small enough to see dust in the air. And they're like, oh, it looks like something's moving on that little bit of
It now
dust.
makes sense. It all makes
And then
sense
that
now.
big tornado everyone sees in the sky and the artwork. No, it's not a tornado. It's just like a teeny tiny dust wind. Yeah,
It all makes sense now.
Someone went
It's
out
all
and
coming
like,
together.
Flapped, they like flapped a blanket or a towel to like clear off the dust, and that's it.
Yeah, we thought 𝗙𝗵𝗄𝗃 was like a giant pig. He's actually like a really small, normal pig, and we're just so tiny.
And
that-
He's a LeChonk.
In the newest trailer, that thing
He's
that everyone
LeChonk.
is theorizing is like a new version of Goma, like from Wind Waker with like the pincers.
Yeah.
It's just like a dust mite.
yeah, it all makes sense.
All right, NPC, you had something way more important to say, I imagine.
I don't know, man. This conversation seems like you have really opened my eyes. I feel like I've been wrong about everything. But yes, I do absolutely. Either it's going to have DLC, or it's a half joke but half serious. They'll have so many ideas again. They'll be just like, oh, the next Zelda game. Now this one might not be like obviously directly related to Tears of the Kingdom, but obviously they have plenty of stuff to go off with. And if they were able to make Tears of the Kingdom this much more different and like revolutionize it, like how Breath of the Wild revolutionized open world games, I wouldn't be surprised if we see them take it a step further and be like, oh wow, we thought it couldn't get any better than Fusane and Ultra Hand and building vehicles. Now they're doing this. So
There's always something different.
Mhm.
yep.
Yeah. No,
Imagination's the
that's legit. Because like when Breath of the Wild came out, I remember thinking like the only way this could get better is if they put in like traditional dungeons or something. But like other than that, this is like a perfect game, in my opinion. Like there's no way it can really get better than this. And then now Tears of the Kingdom looks so much better. I'm like, how do they do it? How do they keep doing it? It's incredible. So if a third game exists or happens, like the sky's the limit, pun intended. The sky's not even the limit. The limit is farther than the sky at this
Mhm.
point.
It's also underground.
Yeah, true.
That's what I was most excited
There are
for.
no limits.
Ever
More
since
of
Games
the
are going to be
Earth
so
Evelyn.
good.
Ever since that first trailer, I have been hoping for underground caverns. And it was funny how they went from that immediately to the next trailer, all Skyland. And I was thinking, yeah, they're doing this on purpose. There's got to be big underground segments. They're just changing the focus. So I was so happy when I saw the recent trailer as well as that commercial ad. I just hope that there are more than one like big area. I'm sure they are going to, because they're not going to reveal everything. But with the amount they showed in the trailer, it just makes me think like, imagine how much they're choosing to not show us. There's going to be so much to this.
Yeah,
Too much, man.
yeah.
And I am really hoping for
Yeah.
caves as well. Twilight Princess got me hooked on those.
Oh no, there will be tons and tons of caves.
Specifically, dank caves.
Yes.
Yes.
Dank
According to the
caves.
website.
That is Nintendo. Even the Japanese version of Nintendo's like official description, which is closer to 𝗷𝗏𝗏 than any of us, or in this case, probably 𝗙𝗵𝗄𝗏𝗏, since he's in charge of it now. I almost said 𝗙𝗵𝗄𝗏𝗏𝗏 because of all the Yoshi stuff earlier, but
Isn't it 𝗙𝗵𝗄𝗏𝗏 though?
I think it's 𝗙𝗵𝗄𝗏𝗏. Yeah.
What did you
Oh my
say?
gosh.
Yeah, what did you say?
what I
I
said?
thought you said
What
Fuji
did you-
pajamas.
I said 𝗙𝗵𝗄𝗏𝗏. I said
Yeah,
𝗙𝗵𝗄𝗏𝗏.
Find out
because-
how Newman.
She right? Like I did Skyward Sword as well.
Oh, I had 𝗙𝗵𝗄𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏
you overcompensated.
I was.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's okay. I
Throw in
pronounced the
some
name wrong
consonants.
in my video that's going out next. I just put an asterisk. Like, I know this is wrong. I think I said like the B twice. I was like Fubibayachi or something. I was like, that's not it. But whatever.
Exactly. It's one of those moments. But for those who don't know, because there are a lot of people that's like, oh, I really love the Capcom games. Why don't Nintendo have people from that Capcom team do Nintendo games now? Well, that's like a large portion of the team now because Fujibayashi came on from the Capcom team, and then they hired him, and that's how we got Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks and Skyward Sword and Breath of the Wild, because he became the director and Aonuma became producer.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah. It is funny that people are like, "Why let Capcom do another Zelda game?" But it's like the Capcom staff that worked on those Zelda games, Nintendo just hired them directly, and so they're still working on Zelda games. Don't worry.
And what a lot of people don't know is that the Capcom games wasn't just Nintendo and Capcom, but also Sega.
That's wild.
Yeah, because they all put people together to make I think it was like Flagship or something. It had Flag in it. But it was like a studio that they created that was just like part Nintendo, part Sega, part Capcom, and it was like Flagship Studios or something like that. And then Nintendo just hired the best people from Sega and Capcom that were on that team to directly work.
That sounds like
them.
Nintendo. That sounds realistic.
Yeah. It's kind of what Sega ended up doing whenever they were like, oh, you mean these people making, like these fans making their own Zelda game made a better Zelda game than we've made in 10 years? Let's hire them to make the next Zelda game. Then we got Sonic Mania.
Sonic. That's the name for Sonic.
Yeah, I was wondering. That doesn't sound like Nintendo. That part doesn't.
Yeah.
That part does, yeah.
No, that part's like, okay, you made, what was it? Metroid AMRS? ASM?
AM2R?
AM2R?
AM2R, yeah. We're going to shut you down.
Yeah, completely. Get rid of you. We don't want you.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you could.
I mean, that one, like they had their own
remake, which would be perfect for a 3DS, but you didn't.
They did have their own remake in the works, so like that one, that kind of makes more sense.
Of Zelda 2?
With Metroid. No, sorry. For AM2R being shut down. Like,
oh yeah. Well,
like
yeah, okay.
Nintendo was already working on a Metroid 2 remake, so the fan one didn't. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that they should have necessarily approached it the way they did, but it's a little more justifiable than some of the other stuff that has happened. Like,
before we move on to our second co-host of this 5-person podcast, Flimflam has a 199 super chat with the Triforce make a resurgence. This is how bad I am at organizing these podcasts. If you remember, I've only asked Daniel what his favorite thing out of the trailers are. We have yet to get to anyone else.
Oh yeah.
I don't think I even gave an answer.
That's our
We haven't
question.
even
That's what
answered
we were
it.
doing?
Yeah, I don't think you actually answered. That's even better.
I didn't even get around to answering.
I don't know if you guys know who Kevin Smith is from like Clerks and Jay and Silent Bob and everything, but he's famous for having these giant Q&As that go on for like 2-3 hours where he only answers one question. And it usually ends with, I'm sorry, did I answer your question? And it's just him telling a story the entire 3 hours. So that's how I imagine this is going along. So, yes. Flimflam says, for $1.99, would the Triforce make a resurgence in Tears of the Kingdom? Would someone besides me like to speak?
Yes. That's my answer.
Do you want to go first?
No, that was my answer. Yes, I think so.
Oh, okay. I don't know. It's really weird because the Tears of the Kingdom have such a big role, and from everything we've seen, you connect them to the sages. But I know technically that isn't the Triforce, because like Ocarina of Time, the Triforce is seen, the Sage Medallions are seen. The Sage Medallions are just more of like a thing that awaken the sages. But with Ganondorf and that tear he has, there's clearly power he's like drawing from it as he does that transformation. Or if we assume that the next shot with that demise looking figure is just Ganondorf transforming into like a demon. So it's so weird that we still haven't seen it. But at the same time, I'm sure if the Triforce is involved, it's something that they would want to keep under wraps. I know that there are different thoughts as well of whether like Zelda has the full Triforce or not. I know Monster Maze did a really good theory recently, talking about that whole topic. So I've always assumed that she did have the full Triforce. I don't know. I mean, when you look at the Switch OLED, there's literally the dragons surrounding the Triforce. So it does make you think that like it is going to have some sort of significance. But I don't know. There's so much stuff we don't know.
Well, how much are we?
That's
allowed
the
to say?
problem. Yeah.
2 weeks.
Well, what do you mean? Like,
I mean, we can't
what-
talk art book leaks. I think.
Yeah,
No.
no art book leaks.
No, it's not. Never
But-
mind.
Okay.
But I mean, kind of to roll off what you're saying, NBC. I think that like the tiers are obviously like something powerful and
Mhm.
connected to like stages or something to that effect, or playing a similar role as sages. We see like Sidon and Riju and Tulin all having some, and then the mysterious Zonai woman has one. Then Zelda also has it. So like, there's so much we don't know still. Part of me thinks that like maybe the tiers, bringing all of the tiers together and everybody harnessing them is like almost like they're all like small keys that will unlock access to the Triforce, and that's why Ganondorf wants them too. But I feel like I'm reaching so hard with that. We just like don't have enough.
Yeah,
to say.
didn't we already get confirmation
No.
that Zelda had the Triforce in the previous game?
Well, that's the thing. But I think at the end of Breath of the Wild, she says she can't. That her powers faded, so she no longer can hear the voice in the sword, and that she's okay with that now. That her power has faded over the last 100 years. I think Zelda had it in Breath of the Wild, and after using it to seal Calamity Ganon away, it returned to the Sacred Realm like it was used. By the same token, at the end of Wind Waker, for example, when King Daphnis uses the Triforce to wish on it, it doesn't stick around. It just poofs, presumably returns to the Sacred Realm or something, but it pieces out. So part of me thinks that Zelda, not knowing like how to use it properly because she wasn't trained properly, all that kind of stuff, makes me think that when she used the power at the end of Breath of the Wild, then she basically lost the Triforce, or it dematerialized or went back to the Sacred Realm or something along that train of thought. And so now Ganondorf's resurged and she doesn't have her power anymore. So now they got to figure out how to get it back or find a new way to access it or something. Again, I feel like I'm reaching so hard because it's all so speculative, but that's kind of where my line of thinking is at, and I'm ready to be proven wrong in 2 weeks. But
May I
we'll see.
reach for a moment?
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, reach.
All right.
Reach.
Try to make this as short as I can. So
Do those stretches.
yeah, mine's more like a half a stretch, I guess, because I'll try to make it really short. But I think Zelda didn't really. So each of the goddesses represent each individual piece of the Triforce, and the goddesses come together to create Hylia. And I think in the same way that all the goddesses come together with each of their symbols, each of the pieces of the Triforce, and that represents Hylia, it also represents the full power of Zelda. And we've seen Zelda in past games, like she gives Link light arrows, or uses the light arrows in like Twilight Princess, like she just uses it for herself. And
Just summons it.
yeah, and then in Ocarina of Time, not only does she give you the light arrows, which we know weakens Ganondorf, but she also uses the not the Triforce. She uses that yellow Kamehameha, if anyone watches Dragon Ball Z, to like pin
Golden
down
light.
Ganon
Yeah.
at the very end.
Yeah.
And like hold him still while Link stabs him in the face, which he does again in Wind Waker, and which begs the question: how many times does Ganondorf or Ganon like to be stabbed in the face? But
I don't think he likes being stabbed in the face.
well,
Just gonna go out on a
Definitely
limb.
happens more than he
I think he
likes.
has to stop
I
being
think.
evil if he doesn't like being stabbed in the face.
Yeah, I mean, you could be like, okay, I'm happy just to be king of my own people. You can do what you do, and I'll do what I do, and then we can just go from there. Or maybe he can like,
Doesn't learn.
maybe they can have like a treaty, and just like they.
Nah,
can
that's
sign
boring.
Good thing.
Yeah,
Treaty's boring.
that would be a boring
Conquest
We
good.
would have
Boo.
games.
So, I think Zelda, like at the end of Breath of the Wild, when she shows like the full Triforce and she seals Ganondorf, I think that's just her showing, because all the goddesses come together to represent the full Triforce, because each represents a piece. I think that's just her showing that she's gained her abilities or powers from Hylia, that she's awakened. And I don't think it necessarily shows more or represents more than it did in Twilight Princess, or especially Ocarina of Time. where she held Ganondorf down. And then even in Skyward Sword, where we know of her before she has the Triforce as well, in Skyward Sword, when she just has her own powers after she's prayed at each of the statues. I think, and she's holding Ganondorf down, or Ganon, and sealing him.
Or demise?
Yeah, demise. Sorry. Demise. I don't think it's necessarily like when we see the Triforce. I don't think it's necessarily supposed to be representing her like having the full, complete Triforce, because even when,
well, in Skyward Sword, Link has the complete Triforce, not Zelda.
But Zelda is also the one who is able to seal demise for like those 1,000 years.
Right.
And this is kind of the same thing, but a lot of people don't think Ganon is as strong as Demise. So instead of 1,000 years, maybe it's 10,000 years for this Zelda. Who knows? Timeline's all timey-wimey, as other studios like to call it. So I think it's not necessarily Zelda showing herself as having the full Triforce, just that she's representing the power of Hylia to seal Ganondorf, or in Skyward Sword it's Demise, or even in Ocarina of Time it's her using the similar glowing light when she only has one of the Triforce, and Ganondorf has another Triforce and Link has another Triforce, and not Triforce complete, but Triforce piece.
Yep.
So I think it's just her showing maybe a stronger version of the power that she's had in previous games, but it's just showing the representation of the Triforce because we only had Hylia after Skyward Sword. And then with the tears, I think they are going to be more so a closer representation to what the medallions were in Ocarina of Time, to where you could use like each medallion represented, like the red one would have been Dense Fire if you used it on its own, or you could equip it with an arrow and that would be the fire arrows. And I think that'll be the same sort of type of thing that we'll see with the medallions. And
I like the theory.
Not the medallions, the tears will be like more advanced versions of the medallions.
Yeah, they're also
with your own abilities.
Not just Minish Cap. I mean, Minish Cap brings in like Light Force, and there's also Life Force. So maybe Zelda's power is sort of like a Life Force thing. Yeah,
because in Skyward Sword, for example, Demise resurrection is brought about by the imprisoned consuming Zelda's life force.
Yes,
essentially.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then with Bellum going after Tetra's life force, because in the 𝗏𝗏 says that Bellum must have gone after her because she had a lot of life force. I think also in Minish Cap, light force and life force just use the word force. So I've always been wondering if they're just kind of like a similar thing. I don't think the Light Force is like the Triforce of Wisdom, but I think both of them are composed of like that similar divine energy.
There are a lot of theories on how the Force is like its own energy thing, and you can extract it from rupees, and it's been in the series forever. Like that.
The DS games talk about it a lot too. And this has been something I've been talking about a lot on my streams and videos, because I'm streaming the DS games and they talk about it so much in those about life force and how all living beings in the Zelda series have this innate force within them. My line of thinking then is that the Triforce itself is force, the ultimate manifests, because but it's the force like normal Hylians or humans in the Zelda series can manifest life force through feelings of gratitude and things, as force gems, for example. In Spirit Tracks, you get tons of force gems for doing side quests. In Skyward Sword, you get gratitude crystals. I think they're one and the same. But when the golden goddesses created the world, they were feeling real good about it, then they manifested force gems. But because they're gods and not mortal beings, their force gems were so much more powerful, and that's what the Triforce is.
That's
my
talk to Zeldum about that.
Yes,
he's also,
I have
he's
not.
also into that.
But yeah, I'd love to talk to him
He
about
has a ton of videos on that, and he actually uses Star Wars in the thumbnail because it's the Force, which is funny.
The Force, yeah.
No joke, Daniel. That's my headcanon. I believe that the Triforce is the life force of the Golden Goddesses. I also wonder if I also wonder that perhaps the reason Zelda is passed down with powers kind of separate from the Triforce, she doesn't need the Triforce to do them. I wonder if that's because of Hylia's life force.
I think so.
And also, they might have needed to like leave behind their life force because they left that world, and that world still needed like the god's presence, unless it would, crumble. So yeah,
like low
I've
rule.
Always, I've like debated whether or not doing like a whole life force documentary, because like I cannot talk enough about life force. It gets to a point where like I make videos and I constantly reference it, and I go to other creators. I'm like, I don't know. I feel like I just always talk about this. It feels a bit redundant at this point, but I love the topic of life force.
It's very weird.
Stumbling
also
across
cool.
your channel for the first time and hasn't seen you talk about it before as well.
Exactly.
But,
yeah, you can't
it's
assume...
one of those things. Yeah, you can't assume everyone's seen every one of your videos, but it's one of those things that's like so fascinating, and it's so omnipresent throughout the series, but so poorly explained within the games themselves, which makes it like so much more fascinating to me.
Right.
Yeah. It's really cool.
Me of the God tribe that 𝗙𝗎💻💻 keeps talking about.
Dude, Mox has been killing it with her content. I was lucky enough. I provided her like a minute of voiceover for
a minute. Wow, that's a lot.
Maybe at that.
I only gave her like
videos 56 minutes.
Am I just hearing about another new Zelda YouTube person? I don't know who this.
Maybe dude, you have to check out 𝗙𝗎𝗻𝗄.
𝗙𝗎𝗻𝗄 is
so talented.
Production quality is really high.
I've never heard of this person before.
Well, Jesse, I gotta talk with you afterwards. I got a ton of YouTubers I could recommend for you.
I would appreciate that.
So many.
I was chatting with Mox the other week, and she told me that like she legit worked in broadcast before being a Zelda YouTuber. Yeah,
really?
like so that's her background is like real life broadcast. For like news,
like video
she went to
or
film school
audio. What kind of broadcast?
Also,
I didn't probe too much.
Okay, now I'm curious because I was going to study broadcasting in college.
I think she said something similar to me, because I was like, oh yeah, your stuff's really high quality.
Yeah.
I don't.
And she went to film school as well. So.
But
nice.
I have to let my dog out, but then I'll be right back on.
I see how it is.
Oh, I can go get my cat. Should I do that? Or is this a good time?
Yeah, Jesse will let the dog out. Brad will bring the cat in.
Well, I mean,
I'm gonna go find my cat.
He's
This will be a
lining at the
second.
door, and I don't want everyone listening to hear like a.
I can't hear him, but let him out if he wants out. He probably might have to pee. Who knows? Dogs be wild or domestic.
Yes,
okay, Bread's house actually really looks like he's inside of a pirate ship.
Yeah, he just needs that bit of like a rotating, tilting effect. Add some sound effects.
He's gotta like do this with his camera a little bit now and then.
Exactly. Yeah,
there you go. Yeah.
Get a few leaks in there.
All his
not game leaks. We keep those out.
No, we keep the leaks.
Oh, that's a big boy.
That's a chungus fungus.
Is that Ganon? Is that the giant dog monster Daruk talked about?
Oh, Calamity Ganon's not some kind of dog monster.
Cat reveal.
Yoshi, stand still for a second. Don't run away yet. Okay. Stop. She's trying to run. There we go.
We stand Yoshi.
This is my cat. She will start making noises any second now because she.
Beautiful.
Because she
Your
hates
cat
it.
We
looks
stand
so
Yoshi.
similar to mine. Hold on.
Well,
okay, now it's time to set her down. That's as much Yoshi time as you're able to get.
Are they taking over the podcast now? We just let them talk.
Yes, it's the pet podcast now. They do.
All right, now I gotta let my cat out. Now she wants out as fast as possible. Okay.
Are you unhappy?
Yes,
well, my cat's right here sleeping, so I'll just let her sleep. But
get out.
I'm surprised she's
she'll
not
pop
making
up when
sounds.
she's
The
ready.
whole reason we named her Navi is because she didn't shut up as a kitten. Oh, there
that's
it is.
funny. Just going, hey.
Wait,
Listen.
whoa, you're right. That looks so similar. Wait a minute. What? What?
You put the cat in the other room, and Geek went into the other room and stole your cat.
Literally, you took my cat. It's right here, but it keeps teleporting really fast onto your screen.
Oh man.
Yours is furrier than mine.
She does have quite a bit of hair, but she doesn't seem to
See if I
shed that much. Okay, I'll let you go. Bye.
Daniel, I'm kind of jealous that your cat just sleeps peacefully on the desk beside you. Because whenever mine gets up, her name's Poppy. She just wants to plop right down on top of the keyboard.
Invasive.
My computer did that once. It sat on top of the keyboard while it was on its lock screen for the passwords for so long that it crashed my computer.
Oh, yeah, no, I have a whole spot right here where people are like, why do you got that weird blanket just like on your desk? And it's like, that's because Ginny sleeps there.
Oh, I sleep here.
And that's her spot. That's her spot. And we had like a proper cat bed for her. She hated it. I don't know why. Fold a blanket.
Always.
Same.
Fold a blanket, put it on here. She's like, yeah, that's my spot. I'm going to sleep there now.
Yep. Our cat likes the couch and her crate, surprisingly.
Is there a window there?
There is a window right here.
So that's probably why.
That's probably why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a cat tree right here next to a window too.
Oh, now she's having a look outside. There you go.
Looking out for the Nintendo ninjas. You can never be too cautious.
She keeps an eye
lookout.
There you go.
Exactly. And we actually had a woodpecker problem at our building here. So the woodpeckers would come in, and I'd be like in the middle of streaming, and then you'd hear this. And I would get so annoyed, right? I'm like, but since we adopted Ginny, I think she hangs out at the windows where they were. Like they haven't come around, or they do very rarely. So I legit think she scares them off, even though she's like an indoor cat. I think just her presence, it's interesting because sometimes I'll still see them. I'll look out the window, I'll see them on the trees outside. She just wants
to see the woodpeckers, but they're scared. How sad.
Yeah, screw those woodpeckers, though.
Dang.
It's like in the middle of the summer, it's like 5 a.m. and suddenly they're just like.
Hey, this is interesting. This is kind of a new piece of news that just happened. Did you know gaming just got hacked?
Oh.
What?
They now have a cryptocurrency channel called Ripple. That's fun.
Oh no.
You can only tell because if you go to the community tab, you'll see that there are people talking about how, this was Did You Know Gaming? And it's like, well, no.
I see. Yeah.
I see. Rip.
And 2 million subscribers and 600 million views. And they'll get their channel back, but this sucks.
Dude, Did You Know Gaming deserves better.
I mean, you would know how
recently got hacked too, right?
I should know. Like, my channel is way smaller than theirs, and I got mine back within 24 hours. They'll get their channel back. This is just annoying.
Good.
Yeah.
It'll probably stunt their growth a little bit too, but not horribly.
Yeah.
What are these people hoping to gain? It's like, do you really
they have
think...
a cryptocurrency live stream going, so they're probably helping to hack more people and put cryptocurrency hacks on their computer to use them for farming, or they're just getting people to buy weird stuff.
That's probably it.
I'm normally pretty careful with this kind of wording, but I just have to say there's a special place in hell for them.
Yes, there is. Jesse he received, he told me this the other week, he received like an email that looked pretty legit, but then he like did an investigation, and it was the exact same type of hack that you had been sent, Brett, where they were trying to do a sponsorship. Oh, and he's back. Speaking of, we were just talking about Did You Know Gaming got hacked? Apparently
they just got hacked a few minutes ago. Their channel's compromised. They're now a cryptocurrency channel for the next few hours.
And I imagine a fake Elon Musk appearing on live streams.
No, not a fake Elon Musk. Surprisingly, it's something called Ripple. It's a different off-brand Elon Musk.
I was going to say a real Elon Musk.
It's the Elon Musk at home.
Actually, wait a minute. There's 2 different live streams going. Are these both from the same channel?
Is there?
So
weird.
No,
same channel.
I haven't heard about this yet.
Well, that's because it just happened in the middle of a live stream.
Okay, I was gonna say I have. I have a friend who Daniel knows who helps me out with some of my videos, and I help them out a little bit on the videos that he writes, and he does stuff for Did You Know Gaming.
Wow. Okay, so that sucks for them.
Yeah. So I thought this was something that previously happened. I'm like, I would imagine he would have mentioned something, but
I think
if it just happened, then
it's gone now. It just vanished for me. So I think
the channel just vanished.
The channel just got taken down. Yeah, the channel.
Yeah, so that's either YouTube. That's probably YouTube shutting it down, saying, "Okay, that's not how that's supposed to go.
Yeah,
and they're shutting it down until they can figure out whose it is.
I imagine it helps if you have millions of subscribers.
Probably.
Yeah, so Daniel knows
Damn.
this.
Good
I
for
was
you.
sent something the other day from people that were like, hey, we want to do a thing. And I imagine that's what Daniel was talking about before I came on. So
That's
I won't
what exactly
waste
I was
anyone's
talking about.
time.
Yep.
I didn't
was
get very
like-
far, but
I was kind of smart enough to know like a little bit of coding stuff. So I was like, wait a minute. This file type does not make sense for a normal PDF. So then I looked it up.
I got.
yourself.
I get a lot of those. Luckily,
I
a
can
lot of them
imagine.
are like labeled as like spam, and it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and a lot of them have a horrible amount of typos, and they look really.
Yeah, and they're so obviously not.
And
They're like, would you
all
like
of
to
these-
collaborate with us on our product?
Like, this is
What product?
something that, even if you are into crypto stuff, which I'm not, like I have a Cash app, which gives you, like, if you have like a few dollars left over on something, then you have the option of investing it in like an actual stock or Bitcoin. And just for fun, just to see if I can make a quarter out of like $2 or something, I'll invest it into crypto just to see what it does, because it's
Just for the
only a
memes.
quarter. And with a lot of these that are like starting up, a lot of people deliberately, which is like why a bunch of them have gotten in trouble lately, they'll literally start them, and all the money that they receive into their crypto, they'll just like invest it out of their bank account that's supposed to be storing your money into another thing that they're working on, or into their actual personal banks, and then they'll just go bankrupt and be like, oh, well, sorry, you invested in something that went bankrupt, so since we're bankrupt, we don't have to fund you anything. Bye-bye. Your thousands of dollars are just gone now.
I don't
And
get that.
then
I don't know how that works. I don't like understand how that's possible.
Well, it's illegal.
Yeah. Okay, so that extends that it's illegal.
That's the point. That's the whole point. Is like a lot of these people that are taking over YouTube channels, they think by the way that they can do this is like they think if they can do it fast enough to where if they just have like a YouTube channel with millions of subscribers within a day or two, then they can make so much money, and maybe they're like in other countries, but the cryptocurrency is only available in a certain country, which has no legal obligations to the other country. And then they can just get away with everyone's money. Like, I've had people straight up offer like $60,000-$70,000 for my YouTube channel, like a year or two ago,
Wow.
before it's where it's at
it's
now.
just to buy the channel outright.
Yeah, just to,
That's
which I
wild.
know I've mentioned to you before, Daniel, but
So glad my channel's worthless.
Oh,
I was
no.
literally
don't have
about
to deal with
say,
this.
I've never had this happen to me because I don't have enough.
I mean, I've
subscribers.
never had this
get
happen either. I've
random-
never heard of somebody wanting to buy a channel from me.
oh no, it
The most
happens all
I've
the
I
had
time.
is,
know
like, I
of
get
another
random-
channel that
It's not just YouTube, it's,
that has
it's
been
social
bought out.
media. Like, if you have a Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, anything that has over so many subscribers, they're like, well, each of your subscribers or followers are like, that's worth 50 cents. So they'll be like,
well,
here's $50,000 for your 100,000 follows on Instagram or something.
The members of the geekdom are worth more than 50 cents.
yeah, yeah, right.
Yeah, my
It's
fans are
weird.
worth at least, I don't know, $1.20.
Yeah, like if you can't get
yeah.
a cheese pizza for each one, or like
There's a price on my fans. There's definitely
maybe
yeah,
cheese
there's
sticks.
cheese sticks. Okay, I'll take that.
Yeah. Maybe not.
What I
But
find
the joke
annoying
aside,
This
I have seen a channel be bought out, and then the new owners just run it into the ground. Like, it's like the issue with buying a social media account like that, or buying a YouTube channel, is that like it's like, okay, well, we have subscribed for this person that runs the account,
Right.
right?
Even
We
the
want to see their
branding has
content.
changed
even
greatly.
worse, and I know Daniel probably knows who I'm talking about. I've seen someone give a fairly large YouTube channel in the community that we're in to another person for nothing. Just give it to him.
Why?
And then also get run into the
And
ground.
then that person runs it into the ground.
Yeah.
Mm.
Why? It's so dumb.
College.
I think person A,
college.
yeah, like was stepping away from doing that kind of content as well. But like for me, like I would have kept it around because like, you know, is something to be said for like I don't want to get all like numbers game on this, but like there is a bit of a passive income to be had.
Oh
like, like those videos are so good and people are going to go back to watch them. And then, you know, you're still getting that ad revenue. And then also if you ever decided to come back to it, you have an install base.
You have it there.
Yeah. So I don't know.
It would be really cool to have a kind of Dread Pirate Roberts thing going on where you pass your channel off to a worthy successor. And everybody, you just don't acknowledge it. You never acknowledge the change. You're like, yeah, it's the same person as it always has been. I'm the Dread Pirate Roberts.
You never do voiceovers or anything.
This one went from being like one of the greatest. Well, I'll say the best female voiceover, which is how Geek got on the channel, was hers that I had heard. And then there was a guy who could sort of replicate a voice similar to the channel that I'm talking about now, which at the time was defunct. So I was like, I wonder if I could like, if I said it's this person, I wonder if people will still think that it's this other person that I also used to do videos with.
Mm-hmm.
I legit thought that dude was that other dude at first too.
Exactly.
And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, it's not them.
It's a shame seeing that channel change because it's like there's an immediate difference in like quality, the way the thumbnails are done, just like the overall way the content. And it's like I'm not, you know, I subscribed for that creator, you know, and now it's a different person, and that different person might not be bad or anything, but like I would subscribe to their channel.
Yeah.
It's a different person. It's not who I came here for. Yeah.
And
so it's like
in their own right, they still had a few good videos, but then there was some that's like you could tell that it wasn't the effort. But anyway,
it wasn't
that's
the same.
A completely different thing. Daniel, I don't know what we were talking about before, but would you like to answer the first question that we asked during
First question? Ain't even
like an hour and a half ago.
First question.
Love it.
Like an hour and a half.
What excited you most?
What was the question?
Daniel? What excited you most? I think from the previews.
Yeah.
Right?
So
Gameplay.
much stuff. Actually, I wonder if I'm allowed to talk about this. There's one thing because. So, for example, I didn't watch all of the previews yet. I watched 𝗙𝗹𝗹𝗪𝗃, for example, was the first one I watched, and there was some stuff that he was like, you know, and they, like 𝗙𝗹𝗹𝗪𝗃 was really upfront. It was like, I can't talk about this certain thing, but then I saw that thing that he couldn't talk about on another channel.
Which was not supposed to talk about it.
Daniel, if you want, DM me. I have a general idea of what can and can't be talked about.
Or here, I'll
and then maybe I can just double check. Because I've been talking, because I'm doing my own little analysis, and I've been like being careful not to talk about. Okay, yeah, so you can't. You could like, I don't know. You can't like talk about it, but like people have mentioned that there is a way to make building. Okay.
Even I've come across.
Point is, there's a feature. I'll be vague. There's a feature that was that hasn't been shown in like the official like 𝗙𝗍𝗋𝗔𝗔 thing, but essentially like it nullifies my concerns about tedium because like things like building stuff is like really cool. But there's going to be a lot of like menu interfacing and stuff like that, and so I worry that. I think not just Japanese. It might be part of it. IGN made it was
IGN. Yeah, I don't know what they posted, but they did something stupid.
I know of IGN doing a thing that had something on it.
Right, IGN had a lot of stuff that they weren't supposed to show.
Yeah, it was a menu option they weren't supposed to show.
Yes. There is a feature that will make some
things easier.
Things about building a lot more streamlined.
Yeah.
But that's as far as anyone went. Me. Yeah.
But that excites me because like Ultra Hand looks so cool. Like being able to do so many different things, like whatever you can dream up, that looks awesome. But there is the concern of tedium of like how much time are you going to have to spend doing this stuff, or having to spend time in menus and stuff like that.
Do you have to
and just having something. Yeah, exactly. But having a system that streamlines that makes that quicker, reduces or removes that tedium, that nullifies those concerns for me, which means that I can just be all in on the excitement of the possibilities and not worried about, is it going to be boring to do?
Mm-hmm.
That's my answer.
The thing that I hope is, I don't know how to say this. With strictly few food items, if you've already made a recipe for something, like the old man.
Yeah.
Not that this may or may not be in the game, but wouldn't it be so much easier if you could just like click on this dish and then have all the ingredients for it thrown into
Imagine
the
how
pan?
fast you can make bread in the game.
Yes. Or like, what
bread
if they
percent
made
run.
ice cream real and not a glitch?
Well, I don't think the actual. If you're talking about like the thing that shows off the
No.
the rest,
This isn't what they
no,
show
not
off.
that.
No.
Oh, okay,
no,
something different.
no.
Okay, all right.
Like that's something
I'm
that
confused
they've
then.
had for a while, but that's different.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I thought you were talking about the cards.
No, I was talking
Where
about
were you
the
like,
sweating
Seapress?
ingredients.
Sweater ingredient.
What?
Yeah, that's why you have
There
to give
are-
it to the
there-
old man, right? The fish, the boar, the...
Oh,
the
yeah.
Breath of the Wild.
It's the one option you could get for getting the warm doublet in the game. You
Yeah,
could
yeah,
feed
and
them
then
the
Oh,
fish.
okay. All right.
thing.
I thought he makes the
I see.
sweater out of the pig and the fish and the...
No,
Peppers.
no. You cook a dish for him.
You cook him
and you,
food.
you cook him food to prove like what the last ingredient is that he was missing.
I thought
And then he gives
needs
you
the- No. That's completely wrong. He needs the ingredients to stitch together the sweater, right?
It's like a fish and some peppers. How does he do that? How does he do that?
What are you saying?
None of this
We're all
makes
confused.
Okay, Jesse's trolling us all
What fits
right
out
now.
of food?
You would think after all these years
He
on the
stitches the
podcast,
scales and the meat
I wouldn't
with
be
the
surprised
peppers.
anymore.
You know what?
No, you're surprised
right.
though. We're all
You're
surprised.
right. This is you're
insane.
right. Yes, this is surprising. My goodness.
Oh,
Okay.
There's a
Alright.
bug on my
Recipe
screen. Where did
cards,
this come
though.
The
from?
point is, we all
What
agree.
the heck?
Yes, we all
Sure.
agree.
Sure.
It's a little bug. Where'd it come from?
Oh my
Where'd it come from?
gosh.
Get out of here.
Stick Yoshi on that thing.
Oh, Geek, do you want to talk about your terrorization from palmetto bugs?
Palmetto bug?
Are
That
Wait,
wasn't a
whoa.
palmetto bug.
What did I miss? Why are we jumping to the demon creature that is palmetto bugs?
Because he had a bug crawling on his screen.
It's actually one of the Twilight bugs from
Oh.
Twilight. Yeah.
Okay.
Don't forget that tier of tears. Wait, hang on a
Alright, so
second.
Daniel,
Oh
do
my
you wanna go
gosh,
back to
it's
answering
all
the first
connected.
question?
No, that was my answer. It was just that feature that streamlines the building process.
Alright.
It excites me. That was my answer.
NBC,
Next
go.
answer.
would you
All
like
right.
to talk about what you thought was the most exciting thing from the gameplay presentations that we are allowed to speak about?
When they say you confuse anything, you literally confuse anything.
You can put
I fused my
steak
dog to
on
a
an
stick. It
arrow.
was great.
I guess that,
done
and
with
it's so cool that we'll be able to also carry around some of these parts for the machines. We don't have to worry just because a big concern was, are they going to limit where you can find these devices in the overworld? But they're anyone who watches the preview, this isn't like breaking any bug or anything, but just want to try and don't keep it too spoilery, but there is a way to get a bunch of these materials like the fan, like that flamethrower, and hold them in your inventory, so then you can later bring them out. So it means you're not limited to where these are found. So that's very exciting.
Yeah. That was
And
another part that was really exciting.
And you mentioned as well, like fusing anything to anything. Didn't you tweet like that someone had fused like a parachute to their shield? And it's like, what purpose does this serve, right?
Someone literally fused the balloon from the past trailer where they first showed the vehicles to his shield, and then he like pulled it out, and there's just a giant freaking balloon sticking out.
I've never thought of that. It's so dumb.
Yeah, but it's hilarious.
What purpose
because
does it serve?
It doesn't need
has
to.
this game
Okay,
forever.
It doesn't need to serve a purpose. It just needs to be cool.
Not everything.
It just needs to be
Okay, obviously not everything's gonna have a special unique trait. However, I'm just saying the way it's to the back of Link's shield, the way that's positioned as he skydives down, it's perfectly aligned so that the balloon could slow down his descent. I'm just saying.
That is really cool.
It could
But,
give you
like-
more
That's
time
true.
in,
Like it could be a parachute.
Matrix
There's
mode.
also, for convenience sake, there is. I will say that there is a portable cooking pot that lets you make one dish
Oh, yeah.
anywhere. Someone replied to that tweet, literally showing me that Link, a player, had an arrow fused to that cooking pot. I was gonna shoot it at an enemy. So I was thinking, what the heck is this gonna do? Is it like the thing the cooking pot's gonna hit is automatically gonna cook up the bokoblin? Bokoblin stew.
I mean, you already can cook monster parts, right?
You know,
So why not?
you just like, I have returned Link in Zelda. What do you have? Is that a cookie pot attached to an arrow? Pew! And it just hits Ganondorf. You got a new recipe. Demon King's soup. Done.
Okay.
The world saved.
More destructible.
It could just be
than an
straight
ancient
blunt
arrow.
force, though.
Wait, sorry, Daniel.
It could just straight up be blunt force, like just like the same as someone just like throwing like a wok at you, like you know, at high velocity.
Yeah. Some of these items are just gonna have an increased damage output. That's what I was saying. Not all of them are gonna have unique properties.
Really funny. It cooked them.
Two things.
It's just so funny.
Two
And the
things.
fact that Nintendo had to take the time to make these.
And they had to
out,
purposely
make them.
rescale the item just so it could fit on the shield. And
Every single freaking time.
the person who was doing that was probably like, "Oh, I love my job."
Or I hate my job.
Oh no! Oh no! I like that. I would love it.
Yeah, honestly, like my best bet is it was someone who probably knew Nintendo would be like, okay, well, they're not gonna let me see any real story stuff, so I'm just gonna fuse everything together. But
Yeah, somebody was also experimenting with the skydiving and archery at the same time, which was pretty cool.
And face planted after. It was
Oh,
glorious.
yeah, that was glorious.
Oh yeah,
which is
yeah, and died.
I think
Fortress.
So that 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 legit laugh so hard when he was
died.
where he kills himself with the ice arrow by accident. Like,
Oh, that was
I think
crazy.
because
Because
he
it
always
was a bigger explosion than you would have expected.
He always delivers his stuff in that same like tone, and then he just says, "And then I died."
he
They
spoke
just,
exactly
I
like that
immediately
when we had
killed
dinner.
myself.
But it totally makes sense that there's a bigger explosion does more damage, because if you already have elemental chew jelly, something I talked about like the past trailer was they're going to have to make it worth it to use these valuable gems. So obviously, you know, go bigger and stronger with the explosion. But it was so funny how so many, like I think at least one or two other people also died the same way because no one was expecting it. I don't know if it was like Game Explain, but someone had fired like I think it was a topaz to the boss bokoblin, and then they died. It's same spot, exact same scenario.
I'm
and it's
sorry,
like,
Geek. You have no idea what the heck's going on, do you?
No, I vaguely, because I did catch something, and then I was like, oh, I didn't want to see that much, and turned it off. I wanna say Nintendo Life did that with the topaz.
Maybe.
From what I know, Game
multiple people did
Explain
it.
did not do anything, but Game Informer.
They demonstrated the meat arrow. Game Explain.
Yeah,
That's
what
one
did
thing I
that do?
remember.
Was that?
What did
That was what we needed to
It's
know.
Bait. It was setting bait. It's
It is
exactly
bait.
what
Setting
people like. Everyone expected it to be a bait
Makes
thing.
sense.
It can
That
also
makes
damage
sense.
an enemy though. I saw someone literally fire a meat arrow at a bokoblin.
That's really funny to think, though.
probably
Just
wrong, but-
imagine being a bokoblin, minding your own business, and suddenly a piece of meat just slaps you in the face.
Someone make a comic of that.
What's opening?
Reminds me in the Hitman games where you can just slap someone with a fish.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a kill. TF2 as well.
Oh man.
Oh my word.
Yeah, the other thing I was talking about was I've seen a lot of funny stuff about just like putting meat on a bunch of different things and like shitting it out or throwing it out to different people or bokoblins. And then the other thing is from the original trailer, not the teaser. I think you can call it a trailer. I don't really know. Where Link's like underground and he does like a backflip with the dragon head stuck to his shield. Obviously, like you're going to be able to find flamethrower dragon heads, which I found out earlier, oddly enough, which I posted in Geeks Chat when she was doing her live stream, that I found out just a few hours ago from now that flamethrowers were invented by a hairdresser,
Really?
or at least modern flamethrowers, which is like,
Gotta be careful around those hairdressers.
yeah, what kind of hair dryer were you trying to use on this person's hair if you needed like some kind of fuel to cause fire? But anyways, I thought it was interesting that because everyone's like, why does he have this dragon head attached to the shield? Is that like a specific shield that we're going to get, or is that like a new item that we're going to get?
Yeah.
But now we know, like, oh no, you're probably just going to be able to fuse that dragon head onto like a stick and be like, get away.
Well, that's another thing that I was so excited about, because I was like thinking, hold on. It looks like there are some things which we could attach to the weapons and shields that we can also fuse to the vehicles. So, like, can we put like a flamethrower on a vehicle? And
yes,
I saw 𝗙cie𝗹𝗹𝗪 try it, and wasn't the brightest because he made the whole thing out of wood, and he put the flamethrowers at the front. So when he went forward, he ran into the flames. And then his whole thing just burnt. It's like, yeah, I might want to make that out of stone.
The attempt was made.
Yeah, but even then, he'd still run into the flames. So you could theoretically have the a stone body, and then you have the ZOEY wheel devices, and then you put them on like the sides. You could just mow over a bunch of enemies. You can also make a little vehicle, fuse some explosive behind it, run it into an enemy, and then as it goes to the camp, you just let off an arrow. Boom! It just all explodes.
Oh,
there's so much. But I was so excited when I noticed how literally like the stuff that you have for like the weapons, it also has uses for like vehicles.
Mm-hmm. It was, I think, Nehru who had like made a video and his thumbnail for it. He was talking about the fusibility and all the possibilities for it.
I remember that thumbnail.
Building vehicles. And that's the Mad Max thumbnail, but it was like Link in the Mad Max Fury Road.
I remember that.
Like
that was a good thumbnail.
The death truck. He ended up changing the thumbnail.
Yeah,
it wasn't getting clicks, unfortunately, but it was.
The thumbnail was glorious.
Sometimes when I make videos, I just want to have like a meme thumbnail or something like that, just a joke. It's like, no, I have to actually take this seriously. You know, it's not like that. I think Joseph Anderson did a video on Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild review, and it was literally just like a close up of like a screenshot or something. It made no sense, but like that video did good. But it's just like, you know, there's always that risk. You gotta like take it seriously sometimes. Sometimes the meme thumbnails actually work.
It's rare, but they can.
Yeah. Anyways, I guess we should ask Geek and Bread about what they. Well, I guess Geek didn't watch it, but sorry.
We could ask Geek. We could ask Geek still if there's anything.
Okay, Geek, what are you so excited about from the preview they didn't watch?
Maybe not the preview, but anything else you've seen.
Well, to be fair, I saw snippets for Nintendo Live because I thought they were just going to talk about it, which I should explain. I don't know if this makes any sense. It's not. I just said science. My southern is showing. But it's not that like I'm worried about like spoilers, especially not story spoilers, because that's obviously not allowed. But it's one of those. I'm like, I don't want to see it because I want my first time seeing this aspect to be me playing it myself. But at the same time, I'm not bothered by hearing about it. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I haven't seen it. It's not real yet. I don't know. That might make zero sense, but it works in my weird little head.
Makes sense.
Well, no, I think that makes sense because like you can hear someone say, "Oh, I did this challenge by flying over here," but then if you see how someone actually flew over there, you're like, "Well, I could have discovered that myself."
And I think we poorly described everything we were talking about earlier. So.
Probably.
What are you talking about? Perfectly.
I did already know about a couple things because I had watched Nintendo Life, not all of it, and then I accidentally saw a little bit when I was watching a video of Nintendo Prime. I was watching his video about IGN, and then I stopped when I realized he was going to show blurred versions of whatever it was they released, and I was like, "Oh, JK." I'm backing out, even if it's blurred. I don't want to know. I don't want because it was stuff that wasn't supposed to be shown. So I was like,
IGN stuff is the last thing you'd want to see because that literally is just like they just straight up like
there's so many
embargo or whatever.
They are ruining it for the rest
all the sites of all the press that was there. The fact that it was IGN is like kind of hilarious to me. Like no hate to IGN. I know Justin.
No, hate to IGN. That was a really incredibly stupid thing they did. It's ruining it for the rest of us because now Nintendo's going to be more suspicious.
It's true.
No, for sure. It's just like, you know, you see Zeltek's video. He's like so careful, you know, and he's so deliberate. And then IGN was just like, screw it. Here's everything. And it's like, it's like
IGN L.
Come on,
big L.
Do better. Do better. But Yeah. I get what you're saying though, Geek, because like when, for example, Breath of the Wild release day came out, a lot of my like big discovery moments came after the plateau itself, because I had spent 6 hours straight at E3 2016 like watching all these treehouse stuff, so I knew exactly where to find the stone talents. On the plateau.
All of us did. We'd seen all that. We had studied it meticulously. We understood every single thing about it. It was once you get off that it got exciting.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So like,
I'm so glad I didn't see that then.
Yeah, one of my favorite.
Well, look, hey, Great
memories is,
Plateau
like,
is still
leaving
fantastic
the
if you
plateau.
had seen it. Like,
Oh,
it's
it's
still
so good.
great.
Oh, true. I just
Still the
remember
best
specific
tutorial that I've
moment
ever
when I
played.
first was playing it. 2 moments was I walked out of the Shrine of Resurrection, and my mom was like, "Do you know anything about this game?" And I was like, "Not really." We were like, "We know it's not normal Zelda," which for anyone who doesn't know, my mom has dabbled in Zelda games. She doesn't know what to call whiz robes, so she always calls them whiz bangs.
I was going to say she's known as Mrs. Whizbangs.
That like her YouTube handle name, even though she doesn't have a channel, is Scared of Whiz Bangs, and I have merch with that on it because it's hilarious. Because my mom's great. She encouraged my brothers and I to play video games. I think because it kept us quiet. But she liked it too. But we're playing, and like I want to say it was like 30 seconds after walking out of the Shrine of Resurrection, I went to the old man, talked to him because I knew he was right there. So I was like, I'm gonna follow somewhat linear path. 20 seconds later, goes to a bokoblin, instantly dies. And I was like, oh, that's how this game's gonna be. Okay. But then I was trying to
First
get
time playing
deer.
died so much.
Oh, yeah. I was trying to get kill a deer. And I'm on top. I was like, ooh, Mom, I'm going to get on top of this rock. That'll give me a nice platform. And I'm looking, and I just hear not dungeon music. Boss music.
Why
and
is
I'm like,
music?
what the point? And I realize that Link is rising up. I see a health bar, and both my mom and I just,
gosh.
like, screaming. And I'm like,
I love that.
and I'm running away.
I love
don't
that.
think my stepdad was
feel
home.
like
I think my brother came out of his room and was like, shut up. I'm like, I don't know what's just happened.
That's so good. See, I feel like I robbed myself of that discovery, right?
But did you kill the
I
deer?
didn't kill it. I ran away.
The deer?
Okay. Maybe the stone talus killed it.
She killed the deer and fused it into her next garment.
There you go.
No.
Okay.
It was not.
Deer.
But yeah, that like stuff like that gives me a more concrete foundation for why I'm avoiding a lot of the gameplay stuff.
For sure.
But from what I have seen, there's nothing that like specifically stands out. I was like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. As much as just really being like, I want this game. Like, I already felt like I discovered so much in Breath of the Wild, which I think we all feel that way. And to look at it and go, no, there's going to be 10 times more stuff to discover this time around. And that's just gameplay wise, not even talking about story and possible music. So
and
it just made me excited.
At most, like, there's no story in it at all, but I was talking about this with Jesse before the podcast had started. There's one detail in particular that I noticed on, like, it was posted somewhere online. I asked 𝗙𝗹𝗹𝗪 if it was a part of the embargo, and he said he doesn't remember it at all, being like, you can't show this. But this one detail has huge implications for the story of Tears of the Kingdom. So, like, it's spoilers, so I can't really disclose it here.
Well, thank you for not disclosing it.
It's a big, it's a small detail, but what it means is like huge.
It may have something to do with the fishing pole.
Yes.
Are you just making stuff up?
Finally!
he's
go. Fishing's back.
Yes, the fishing. Yes, it has to do with the fishing pole. That's the thing that
I'm so excited for that. I've been wanting that back forever.
Yes. There was an interesting thing too, is that like I've been like a dungeon believer, a dungeon stan for like as long. I feel so sure that real proper dungeons are going to be in this game.
About your religion,
and apparently, my the cult of Greg.
Natsu's talking about your cult.
But the apparently someone at the demo, Gene Park, who's a writer for, I want to say Washington Post, I might be misremembering that, but he was at this preview event, and he apparently said he unlocked what he believes to be a sky dungeon, and then the Nintendo employees told him, you can't go in there, do not go in there, and told him like to turn around.
I've seen and heard a couple of those.
Yeah, and I'm like, and he said it was like some puzzle that no one else had unlocked that way, and then he opened the entrance, and he was like about to go in, and he said it looks like nothing like anything in Breath of the Wild. And I'm like, that just like makes my brain go so
That's
wild. That
really
should have been my
exciting.
answer instead of the other
That's
thing.
extremely exciting.
But remember
Yeah.
this. And NBC and I talked about this a little bit while everyone else was joining on before. That it could
While
be,
we were all late.
It could just be between like it could be something as significant as in Breath of the Wild when you actually seen a full cutscene or memory or something, which gave you like a lot of backstory, or it could have been a cutscene where like Link's talking to King Zora or something, and it goes on rambling, and it's like, oh yeah, her daughter had a crush on you, and she made this suit, and here you go, and you can go there, and it's like Princess Ruto, but it's different, kind of, but it's still the same because you can still go and get it, and blah blah blah. But it could be something as significant as that, or it could just be like how in Breath of the Wild there was like 2 or maybe 3 different ways. There's 2 that I'm aware of first meeting Prince Sidon.
Like it could be just a beginning thing anybody would have ran into anyways.
Like it could have just been something that would have triggered.
Well, that's still we still wouldn't want to see that though.
Exactly.
We would prefer to save that for
Exactly.
later.
But also I have seen people. I can't talk much about it because again, it's parts of it that like break that embargo. But it is, you can clearly see bits of something. But some people might also be thinking, oh my gosh, this particular thing is a big dungeon. Dungeons are returning, but the place they were, it's not really a big dungeon.
It's on a sky island, right? You can't fit much there.
It's something else in particular that all of these previews had in common with what they were supposed to do. And if that's the case, it's more likely something that's not a big dungeon. So I think some people that went there are just assuming that they saw this and thought, oh my gosh, big story dungeon. So
right. Well, I mean, dungeons can vary in size, of course, and of course the scale of things. If there's a loading zone, then you can pretty much do whatever you want with the scale of things.
It could be a major test of strength.
Like, even especially if it's on the Sky Islands,
another one,
early game area,
major test of strength.
It's unbelievably major. But if it's like early game, especially, it doesn't even have to be a big dungeon, and there could be really bigger dungeons elsewhere. Like we see this like desert temple thing, or in that underground fire area, there's like a huge structure in the distance that Link's running towards in the trailer. So I mean, I'm still holding out hope. I might be just high on copium and just lying to myself.
No, I feel like it's pretty. I feel like there's a good chance we will see those traditional ones. And like in my opinion, one of the biggest reasons why the Divine Beasts ended up feeling underwhelming is because the whole point was they were trying to give off how big they were in size so we could see the full thing. But because of that, they were limited with what they could do because they had limited space. Yeah. When Link enters these Divine Beasts, there are loading screens, and obviously it's a different model. It's bigger than the one you see in the overworld, but it still means that they were limited with how they could do the dungeons because, as you guys say, it's not like in Skyward Sword where Link just enters a temple like Skyview Temple, it goes down, and then because of that, they can make it as big as they want. Because, it's built into the rock.
Right. But by the same token, having these underground areas beneath Hyrule, they're not that limited by scale in a sense there. Just by how deep underground they can go. Yeah, and I have a feeling that what they're going to do for the Switch's performance is the underground sections will be separated with a loading screen. And then the surface and sky will be on another layer. And also, they may utilize the whole concept. Like in trailers, we see, I think it was the title reveal when Link's diving down. There's that layer of clouds, and then it goes past. Then you start to see the surface. So they're probably going to have it where at a certain level, they just have a little cloud barrier. And that way it can help the game like unload those bits because technically you can't see them at that height. And I think that's how they're going to manage the surface and Sky Islands. And also, it does suggest that we will go a lot higher up with Sky Islands. I hope there's a whole bunch higher up that we haven't seen yet because that would be really cool. Yes, yeah, agreed. For sure. Yeah, I think they kind of use the cloud and all the wind effects and stuff just to mask loading, which is like the way to go. One of my favorite examples of like hiding loading screens, if you guys have played like the Metroid Prime games, there's aside from when you load into the game, there's not a single like clear loading screen. but they do so well to just like mask that loading in that game. It's like, okay, you go into an elevator and then Samus rides the elevator, and rather than a loading screen, you're there in the elevator, and that's the loading screen. And then the elevator gets to the top, and then you go out, and the new area is loaded. And it's obviously not one-to-one comparison, but I think, like you said, it's like, well, just the act of how long it's going to take to skydive is going to mask that loading.
Well, I remember
the distance.
I remember on Zelda Universe, when I was talking on their little podcast, someone actually brought up, it's a very similar example to yours, in A Link Between Worlds, when Link crosses to Lorule, he goes through that dimension.
Right.
And there the loading screen is more visible because like the game will straight up freeze frame for a bit, but they still try to like disguise it as an actual gameplay segment when it's just trying to load in the next area. So
they give you something visual to look at while you're waiting.
Yes, I love that, because then you're never pulled out of the game. Then, like, you're still immersed in this experience. Then, and it's all this really psychedelic transition instead of just like a boring loading screen with a little bar. That, like, Breath of the Wild had a pretty boring loading screen going into the shrine.
Those were pretty bad.
I was gonna say, there are other video games that are more a little bit, well, there's not that Breath of the Wild's not modern, but like on somewhat more powerful consoles, like on Tomb Raider or God of War or whatever, they'll have you crawl through like a little crevice between like a cave, and like as he's like slide through, or she's as like slide the crawling through, or you'll have like a linear type of cave that like all the game has to focus on during this moment is this linear path that you're going to do for like 3 or 4 seconds, and then as soon as that's done, that'll be plenty enough time for it to load everything that's on the other side for you, so it seems like a seamless open world. Whereas Breath of the Wild, I think
would cut Jedi Fallen Order did the same thing as well.
I mean, Breath of the Wild's areas that you were playing and were so large that I think they were able to get away with having pretty poor loading screens, because the only time you're going to experience it is when you're going into the shrine.
Unless you did those weird glitches where you're like, I'm going to send this tree 1,000 miles per hour, and I'm going to be riding.
Then you're going to experience just a few problems. Just a few.
Yeah, or if you wind bomb, then the game has some trouble keeping up because you're going way faster than you're meant to.
Yeah. You can go so fast that like the cutscenes won't even trigger. I was once trying to get footage at Zora's Domain, I think, with the shot where you meet that alternate cutscene where you meet Sidon at the throne room instead, and like I went so fast that when I went in where the cutscene was supposed to play, it just didn't play for like 10 seconds. And I was like, oh. I'm so upset because King Dorfman was there, so I was thinking, I wish I talked to him to see what would happen, because I haven't actually triggered the cutscene yet. But yeah, it's so funny.
That's hilarious that you went so fast that the game had to stop for 10 seconds and be like, wait, where's he at?
It's having a stroke.
What cutscene is supposed to play? Oh yeah, he just beat the final boss. Play that.
Is this right? Is he playing Odyssey? What's going on? Is this Super Mario Odyssey? Mario Kart?
Imagine playing the game faster than it's meant to be breaks the game.
Well, that's why
what do you know?
Fall through the world in Wind Waker. If you sail too fast on the boat, you would fall through.
Playing Tears of the Kingdom too quickly crashes Paper Mario.
Yeah, that's how it works. Your Paper Mario will crash.
Crashes making a cake.
Next time you play it, it'll
for like
crash
thousands of years.
That's how it works.
All right.
Don't you know?
Brad, is there anything that you noticed through any of the gameplay presentations?
Nice segue. That was answer the first question. That's smooth. I'll take it. I like it. I have a few things, but I'll go through them really quick, and then after I say them, if you guys have anything to add about it, I'll give you a chance for that. But so first thing is,
we talked
in all of the trailers that we've gotten, the stealth shroom, the one that makes a cloud of smoke, the puff shroom, whatever it's called, that's really exciting because I love Assassin's Creed, and the idea that you could stick it to your spear, paraglide over something, land down with it, and then have a smoke effect around you to cloud yourself. That seems really cool. Then you put it on your shield and your arrow as well, and you've just become an assassin, and you're unstoppable. And you could like do something where you distract every enemy, and they go to a different part of the camp while you like do something with a few stragglers. Like, that's so cool to me. So that's the first thing. Second thing is, I really love how everybody who's played the game thus far says that the controls are really confusing. Because it means that we're going to have to get used to it again and go through that experience of being a noobish player again, which is something I really enjoyed. And then the third thing, which I don't think counts as a spoiler, is the ability to throw items like overhand instead of doing what you do in Breath of the Wild, where you basically just like have it floating in your arms and you go like
flop.
So, like it's so boring. It's so lame. This now you could actually like take an item and go. That's way cooler to me. I love that. Those are my three things.
Yeah, with the stealth, I absolutely agree. I actually recently replayed Assassin's Creed Origins. That was
nice.
That was a lot of fun. My comfort game though, I mentioned it before. I absolutely love the Hitman trilogy. That's my favorite stealth gameplay. I also enjoy
play that too.
Oh, it's so good. I also enjoy like you said, the Assassin's Creed games. But as a stealth player, I never even thought about like how you could just like dive down with a spear and then everything. It literally feels like when you just drop down as an assassin, drop a smoke bomb, and they're just like taking out these enemies.
I've been replaying Assassin's Creed 1 and 2 recently, so that's why I'm like on that mindset. Like I need to kill everything. And I don't want to get seen while doing it.
Yeah, I am hoping though that this game does embrace stealth more because Breath of the Wild tried with some stealth sneak strikes and stuff, but even just like the puff shroom and the ability to like ascend and kind of infiltrate monster camps without alerting everyone immediately, and the fact that when you ascend and reach the top, everything freezes, so you can kind of like assess your surroundings to see if it's actually worth committing to the action or not. All that stuff is so cool.
Mood.
As someone who spent most of her Breath of the Wild playthrough going to enemy camps, finding a safe distance, and just throwing remote bombs till everyone was dead, I'm excited for stealth.
Yes, that is the right way of playing that game.
Master mode, man, just gravity.
See the bokoblins just woo, woo, and they have no idea what's happening.
I love how they just kick it away. They just know. They're like, nope, get it away from me.
It depends. Actually. That depends on the rank of the enemy.
Yeah, I saw little Jimmy get thrown off the ledge just now. I ain't messing with this.
The silver one's going, the red ones got offed, not me.
Yeah, the red ones are like, ooh, shiny. And all the other ones that are higher ranked are like, no, wait, no, Jerry, don't touch that. Stop.
Jerry, no.
Larry, there's a light.
Larry, no. Me.
Poor guys. They have no idea.
Rip.
Oh, that's something I hope they fix, or maybe add on, make certain ranks of enemies more different from each other. That was something they touched on a little bit, but didn't do a lot with.
Like the enemy AI is not very different between tiers of enemies.
No.
I think that's
awesome. AI. The AI is awesome, so it doesn't need to be very different. But it's cool if it was different.
Yeah,
Forgive me for
like because
asking.
like fighting a harder bokoblin is not that different than fighting a easier one. Aside from the example we just gave. Because like they're just more of a hit sponge. So I don't know. It's cool like seeing the previews how much more enemy variety there seems to be. Like having the big Blinn guy. Is he called a big Blinn? I thought, or is he just a boss bokoblin?
Boss bokoblin. But I call him Boss Coblin.
Boss Coblin. I love that.
Yeah,
I like that
because the big Blinns were in the DS games, and that's immediately what I thought this was.
Yeah,
but I guess he's close enough. So
we got another message in the chat.
Oh, another super chat.
Super
Mr.
chat.
Jesse.
Oh,
Hey,
yes,
that's 90 people watching. This is awesome.
Flam again for $4.99 says, how many Zelda games have you played through recently leading up to Tears of the Kingdom release, Twilight Princess and Wind Waker for me? Starting Skyward Sword tomorrow.
Most of them for me, honestly.
I've
like
been
actually, like last summer I started.
The last game I played was Fortnite, so.
Oh, I see.
That'll properly explain where my head has been at.
My goodness, and Link drops down to the islands like in Fortnite.
There you go. Where are we dropping, Jesse?
Same universe.
Mine's similar to Caps because like I have played most of them ever since that sequel announcement, and I was trying to get through the backlog. However, I got really far, I think, with Ages because it was one of the few games I had still needed to beat. I got far with it, but I haven't gone back to beat it, and then I still technically have to go play Seasons. I played a bit of Triforce Heroes, but not much, and of course, Zelda 2. I don't know if I'll ever play that though.
Zelda's really fun.
You know, Zelda 2 is not as bad as
you got to know the rules.
But I feel like I feel like I'm noob gamer. I'm just gonna die constantly.
That's the best part.
You will, but if you get a guide going or you watch some tip videos, it would really help. That's what I had to do, and I ended up enjoying the game afterwards. It's kind of like Assassin's Creed.
You can cheese a lot of fights.
Well, Dark Link,
there's a technique.
What Brad said, it's kind of like Sesame Street.
What?
Sesame Street.
But what you do is you crouch, jump, stab at the same time. So you jump and crouch in midair, and the enemy AI gets confused because it reads that you're crouching, so they go to block low, but then you're jumping at the same time, so then you hit them up high, and you just cheese a lot of fights that way, and that's how I get through Zelda 2.
I have not mastered that skill, but I can do the jump attack with the dark nuts. That's pretty easy.
I think actually recently
down thrust is a lifesaver. Oh, the down stab is a lifesaver as well.
Yeah. I think recently, the Zelda game I did play, that was most recent was Twilight Princess HG. Fun fact, it was the second time I ever played it, and it was the first time I ever got through the whole HD version. I had played it way back on the Wii, had a lot of fun with it, but I just never really felt the urge to go back and replay it. But I had done it recently because I wanted to do a full high quality playthrough on my other Archive 64 channel where I provide that no commentary stuff. So
that's a good
yeah, thank you.
It's very helpful.
Yeah, those videos take a while to plan out because I try to actually write notes and stuff going into each recording, because the whole point is I'm trying to record this playthrough with minimal editing, so it requires a bit of pre-production. But yeah, so I played that finally for the second time, which was the first with the HD, and yeah, I had fun with it. It's a fun game.
I like the HD version. I think it has so many small tweaks that really add up. Yep. And then it's hard to go back to the Wii or GameCube versions for me. Yeah, Midna's definitely the best companion. I like Midna. Oh yeah, very good, very good. Because a lot of them, they feel like they just don't have that character arc, and then Midna has her own. The other ones are just Lineback is great. Lineback is also great. I love that. Yeah, that one's also good. Yeah, I just finished a playthrough of Phantom Hourglass on Monday or earlier this week, and I'm the chemistry, the way Lineback grows as a character is hugely underrated. No, definitely.
It's on my mic. Where?
That bug. He's bugging you.
These shadow insects are ridiculous.
It's No, it's I've been trying to get through almost all the games myself, just because. So I played A Link Between Worlds for the first time in ages last year. I played the Oracle games for the first time last year, and then I've gone through almost. I started streaming last summer, just to get through all the games, and then some of them I'm just playing on my own time as well. And I'm trying to think which ones have I not played through since then. Triforce Heroes I haven't dabbled into, but I just started into Spirit Tracks, and I should be able to finish it before launch day. So other than that, I legit think I've played through almost all of the games, just not, or at least going to be by the time Tears of the Kingdom launches. It's just not Triforce Heroes and not Four Swords Vanilla. Four Swords Adventures I did play through, but Four Swords I couldn't figure out how to get someone else to actually play it, and that's one you can't not do multiplayer. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised with how much fun I had with Four Swords Adventures, even with single player. Good. I thought it was fun. It's really fun. Yeah, it's a very different game, and it was enjoyable. I know that the one that is really annoying is Triforce Heroes, unless you have a group, because then you got to constantly switch between the links, and it's that's why I haven't played it. I have played it, but then not in this lead up.
It's a pseudo Zelda game. It's not the same gameplay. You could skip it. Nobody will care.
Yeah, but I haven't played it since it was new.
Cap, but have you played Link's crossbow training?
Yes. Whoa. Actually. Yes. Okay. I did a stream once years ago where I streamed the whole game start to finish, and I got platinum medal score on every single level in one stream. And I felt very gratified. I felt very
Did you have to go through each level a few times, or just first try every time?
Some of them it took me a couple tries. Yeah.
I mean, that makes
Some of
sense.
the harder
Like,
ones.
it'd take a couple tries, but I just, the way you said it made it sound like, dang, you just plowed through it.
I mean, this was like in the span of like 4 hours, the entire game.
4 hours to do platinum on all of them. That's incredible.
Yeah. It was
Your aim is
a
amazing.
hella stream. It was,
Holy
yeah, well, it helps as well. Like, what I do, I have a whole setup where it's like, I like put the armrest up and to like really steady myself. And, you know, there's like a perfect distance from the sensor bar that I have to get. And then it's
You
all
actually
just
have
like
like
in
a
the very
stand for your Wiimote, so it's like you're firing a rifle.
Yes. Yes. No. It's not that intense. It's just like a very, I unironically sank way too many hours into that game when it came out. So it's,
I mean,
it's
I
like
heard-
You
going
had
back to my
experience
memory.
with it already. I see.
Yeah.
It's a meme,
Yeah.
but I've heard it actually is kind of fun.
It
is
is
really
actually fun.
Yeah.
It totally
fun.
is.
It's sad that we got that instead of a actual sequel to Twilight Princess, but it's still pretty fun.
That is a sequel, bro.
Shout out Nehru for his video on that one.
Sacrifice.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Anyway,
Zelda's
Zelda
good, though.
games people have
Forgive
played
me for
recently.
asking NPC. Have
Who's
you
next?
been able to give your thoughts on
On
Look
what?
at Navi.
on the original question?
I just did mention it. I said that I was similar to Cap. I played most of them, but there were a couple I was trying to like get into my backlog. It was the 2 Oracle games, Triforce Heroes. The one I most recently played though was Twilight Princess HD.
All right.
So, yeah, I was just saying someone else should probably answer now.
Well,
Yes.
I can go.
Oh no, that
Right,
wasn't.
were you
even the
gonna pick
original
somebody?
Question. That was the live chat, super chat. I was talking about
Oh.
like your actual favorite thing from the gameplay.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
Okay.
I answered. Yeah, everyone answered that question. Yeah.
because I thought
Yeah,
you
good.
recommended
We got
Geek,
through it.
but okay.
Yeah,
I got through our first topic.
I was just mentioning it too because I didn't want to see it too off track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Does anyone else wait?
RMFH
Let Brett talk
just said
about his
something in the
Zelda
chat.
games.
Yeah, if you want. So
yeah.
my collection of Zelda games that I've played is pretty eclectic.
Oh shoot! No.
Jesse's gone.
No.
We don't even have
Jesse,
Jesse anymore.
I've had enough of this. I've had enough
Jesse,
of this.
I talked for like 3 seconds, and that you couldn't even bear that. This is ridiculous.
Well, I'm allergic to Al Pacino
Oh,
Well-
fair enough. That's fair.
You know, I'll take that. Yeah, that's true.
and fettuccine alfredo
Mhm.
Yeah. That's...
and other Italian cheeses.
While Brett answers this question, I'm just gonna refill my water here.
Okay.
So
Yeah, it's fine. Just everybody get out of here. Just get
Yeah,
out.
it's
I'll
been
talk
fun,
to the
y'all.
chat.
I'll have it open on my
I got
phone
the
to just
chat. I
eavesdrop
got
on
the
you.
chat. Eating out of the palm of my hand. It'll be great. Yep. Get out of here. Under the guns. Yeah. So, chat. Do you guys even care what Zelda games I've played, or was this just directed at somebody else? Who do you care? Who do you care answers this question? I need to know. I need
Should
answers.
answer it.
Yeah, come on, answer.
I'm
it.
pretty sure almost
Alright.
everyone has a longer list than I do. I think I played 4.
4? Hey, okay. So you're not actually. I don't think you're
No,
too
I've
terribly
played
far
others.
off from me. No. Okay. So my list is really eclectic. I started with Twilight Princess. Then I went to Skyward Sword.
Mhm.
Then I think Breath of the Wild was the next major. No. Sorry. I gotta go. Let me pull up my list. It was Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword. I went to Majora's Mask, Ocarina of Time. And then I only got a handful of the top-down perspective games. Unfortunately, I'm not a big top-down perspective Zelda game fan. I'm more of a 3D Zelda game
Me
fan.
either.
Can I tell you my
Sorry,
favorite
Jesse.
Zelda fact of all time?
You're what?
My favorite Zelda fact of all time.
Oh, fact. Yeah. Shoot.
Twilight Princess. The dungeons. I don't know if this is supposed to be all the dungeons or like the first. You know, like how Ocarina of Time does like child dungeons and adult dungeons. So I don't know if it's
Yeah.
supposed to be like
Yeah.
that or if it's supposed to be all the dungeons. But the original trailer and the interviews they did the year before the game released, before it was delayed, at E3 with everyone, they showed off an extended, like, you know that original trailer that you see where everyone like jumps up out of their seats and like, ah!
Yeah, I know that one.
Yeah.
There he is. There's RMFH.
RMFH. Long time no
Hello.
see.
Woo!
Wait, did it work? Yeah,
We
it
shall
did.
see.
It did. Okay, yeah. Okay, there. I just had to adjust it a
I
little bit.
see him.
Yeah. Okay, so everyone's here. So cool. That original trailer that they showed off had an extended version. The extended version had like 2 more minutes of dungeon gameplay.
Really? Where can I find this?
You cannot, and I have tried. Trust me, I've spoken.
Oh, so it's just we know what people said about it.
It was behind closed doors, was the thing. So I've read the interviews, I've talked to the people, and literally one of the people was like, "That was 15 years ago. I don't remember anything about that." And I'm just like,
"Oh, dang it!"
But you can see a little bit of it in the original trailer that they showed off,
where they're fighting the giant lizard-looking thing.
I don't know. I can send you the trailer.
It's a complicated trailer.
You can see a little bit of what they're referencing in the
love Navi. Navi is life.
Their articles or whatever they published. But I only bring this up because you're like, I haven't played the ones with the top-down perspective. But all of the dungeons in Twilight Princess, or at least half of them, were supposed to be top-down in Twilight Princess.
Weren't some of them as well originally Wind Waker dungeons that became Twilight Princess?
That's another theory I've heard a lot of.
Yes, that's another thing that happened. But in Twilight Princess, like all of the dungeons were top down, but then when you got next to an enemy and it was like your battle position, the camera would lower, kind of like it does in A Link Between Worlds when you like fuse into the wall where a cutscene happens. So the camera would lower down so it's behind the back. And I think it was like a mix of sort of what they did in Ocarina of Time with the Fire Temple when you're in that one room with the boulders rolling around and the camera goes top down. I think it was kind of like
cool.
that, but then like they were just messing with it more and more, and they were just like, "Oh my god, I love this." And
that was the most perfectly timed water break. Do you want to know why? You want to know why? My mail came.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right, everyone, let's all pressure him to unbox this right now. Anyways,
open it now. Show us the OLED you got. Show it.
Jesse, you know what that makes me think of though when you say the camera goes down? It's exactly. It sounds like Fire Emblem Three Houses. It's like top down, and then when you confront an enemy, the camera zooms into like the back of the character, and then they fight. So it sounds very similar to that. It's a very interesting concept.
Okay. Yeah, but apparently like the demo that they had planned was like an amalgamation of everything that they had from all throughout the game. Like they had canoes or boats within Ōrdon Village, which wasn't originally Ōrdon Village. Ōrdon Village originally just
they needed to leave those.
Village.
They were so cool.
Yeah.
They also should have put one in Lake Hylian.
But they thought that the fan reaction to the demos they had, which Nintendo in interviews say like these are only demos. These are not like to represent where you're going to start out in the game. It's just demos that we put everything together from throughout the game so you can experience it all in one. Which is why you have that 10-minute tutorial of like, we need to catch a fish. And the fan reaction to the demo was so great. They recreated the entire beginning of the game and then remade all of the dungeons because the positivity or the positive feedback they got from the demo that they showed off.
To be fair, it does a very thorough job at teaching things.
Yeah.
Very thorough.
Catch the fish, let the cat get it. Yeah.
Very thorough.
Every single dungeon starts out like that.
There you go.
Also, hey Rick, hey, good to see you, man.
Hello.
I like your hair.
Thank you for meet you.
Appreciate it. Nice to meet you.
Yes,
I'll say the same.
For everyone who
I've
doesn't
talked with you in text chat before, but it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
It was. Same with NBC.
For everyone who doesn't know, Rick has been on the podcast for a while. He was I asked him to come on yesterday whenever I asked Daniel, and he said that he might be able to join halfway through depending on what time he's able to get back from his gang violent escapades.
This violent gang activity.
That means there's 2 more hours because he's here at the halfway mark. So we got 2 more hours of the podcast.
Wow.
I was actually just about to say I'm gonna have to go in a minute because my husband's on his way home and we have to go tour the place we're moving to when he gets here.
And you're going to do your own gang escapades to get your own Tears of the Kingdom Switch.
But I do see that Rick already posted his unboxing video.
Whoa.
Yeah.
was
I just
fast.
put it in the live chat here, but that is fast. I gotta film mine after we're done here. And so people were asking in the chat for me to unbox it, but I'm gonna do a proper video with a better camera than just my webcam. So
What are you talking about? You look beautiful right now.
I originally said that I was extending the podcast from around like 90 minutes to about 2 hours, and we've gone for about close to 2 hours 15 minutes now. So I was thinking maybe if it was okay with everyone, we could do a trivia, Triforce trivia thing, and then if there's time, because I'm not exactly sure on what time I have to leave, then we can go on from there. What does people?
Can I finish my games list or
Yes,
no?
yes.
Okay. I'm gonna
no
go
one
through it
wants
really
to
fast.
hear about.
No,
please.
There were
Please
3
do.
people in chat, and I'm like,
After
I don't want to
this-
let those people
after
down.
this
I asked
topic-
them, and they said yeah.
Yeah,
So it was
after
not
this
necessarily in this exact order. I played Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword, Majora's Mask, Ocarina of Time, and then I played a handful of the top-down perspective ones. And my favorites of those were always Zelda 1 and Zelda 2. And then I struggled with The Link to the Past at first, but came to love it. Then I more recently started Wind Waker, and in between Wind Waker and the other ones, I got Breath of the Wild. Yeah, that's my list. It's very eclectic. It's all over the place. And I'm missing a ton of the top-down perspective Zelda games.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Geek, you said that you had a few viewers that you were playing for?
I did, which I'll probably leave after I make my list, just so I can get ready.
You have one. Yeah, that ought to be your send-off. You deserve that one last moment.
So right after, because they said recently, and I'm like, how recent? Because if we're going from when we first learned that there was a sequel, Link's Awakening was right after that, because I think it came out on the Switch right after that, which I loved. I loved the original too, but played Link's Awakening, Wind Waker HD, almost finished Breath of the Wild. I just have to do Calamity Ganon, unless you count the DLC, in which case I'll never finish. And then I did Skyward Sword. I've started Twilight Princess like 3 times, and there's nothing wrong with the game. It's just for some reason I finish the first dungeon and go, I'll get back to it, and then I never do. I have no issues with the game. I don't know why that happens, but
No, that's real. That happens a lot.
Yeah.
I did that with Wind Waker my first time playing it.
fair.
I did the moment the Triforce chart quest came up because I played I never got through the actual original game. I saw it, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I know for some reason it was super controversial because a lot of people didn't like the art style, but I saw it, I'm like, wow, I love this. I really want to play it. But then the moment the Triforce chart thing, I'd look for them like, I'm out. See you with Wind Waker HD.
That's all I need. Goodbye.
You know, I will forever defend that section of the game, to be honest. I do not find it egregious or excessive at all, because Wind Waker is essentially, before Breath of the Wild and since Zelda 1, the first like properly open world Zelda game. And then the quest has you interact with the world. And you can start it as early as after the first or the third dungeon. You don't have to like wait till the end and then do it all. You can do it incrementally or gradually throughout the quest. Or
I can attest to that. I'm playing the HD version at the moment for the first time, and yeah, it's pretty free. I've been doing a lot of that stuff already.
It definitely is.
Too.
Yeah, I don't know. It gives you a reason to interact with this big open world, and I think I think that's good, and also Tingle.
Oh, that's rupees though.
Also, the HD version really massively cuts down on it.
But
yeah, they like a lot of quality of life stuff.
You only
that
have
makes
to
it work.
pay for like a third of it in the HD version.
Yeah, and that's
Like,
why the original it sucks. It's terrible.
You get so much money in that game. It's never been an issue. If 12-year-old Daniel could play through it and afford those rupees, I think NBC could too.
No, I can't.
I believe in you.
I'm sorry. You have too much faith in me.
But yeah, other than those games, I am trying to finish Ocarina of Time. I've played other Zelda games before, like Link Between Worlds and everything. But yeah, that's the next one I'm finishing, and then I shall play Tears of the Kingdom.
That's a good
I'm
list.
very excited.
It is a good list.
But now I need to head out. And also my neighbor for some reason is stomping above me, and I don't know why.
Godspeed, Geek.
So
They're
woodpeckers,
excited
bro.
about their
Good luck with
TOTK
the
OLED.
move out.
Wait, what about me?
Oh, yeah, you're moving, right? You said you were moving?
Yes, like
Good luck with
Monday. Thank you.
Oh, that's so soon.
I
That's
think
so
so. They
soon.
want us to move in Monday, but it might take a few days for it to get approved. So it might be more like next Friday. So, but we have time to like move everything slowly, thank goodness. But yeah. And then my audio cut you out, Daniel. You said something too.
Oh, I was just shocked at how soon that was. Like how soon that came up. But yeah, no, that's exciting. But also like nerve-wracking. Moving's a pain in the arse. So
It really is, especially because we're downsizing. So I don't know where we're gonna put our gaming stuff. So it's just gonna stick out like a sore thumb. I don't like having people over anyway. So who cares?
That's fair. That's fair.
All right. Well, it was good chatting with everyone and meeting some of you too. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was nice to meet you.
Hi, geek.
And now we know I'm geek, not Greek.
I don't know. I think I'll still refer you to as Greek.
The Greek
not the
is
only one.
angry. So-
No, yeah, that's the new one as of my last stream. Is TGA stands for the geek is angry because she doesn't know how to play basic video games that she's played since she was 3.
no.
Amazing.
That's okay.
All you have to do is play
Alright.
better.
Yeah.
Easy.
That's the answer.
No. I would say my one consolation is I'm better than my mom, but unless she's watching, she might be offended by this. That's not a high standard.
No.
I'm just saying, when we play Mario Kart, till this day, she'll be like, yeah, I won. I'm like, Mom, that is not your screen. Your screen's over there. You are in a ditch going backwards.
That's really accurate.
It's
That's really
hilarious.
accurate.
It really is.
Oh.
But she's better than my stepdad. So that's even worse.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
It's a good time and when I visit my family.
As long as you're having fun, that's how you win video games.
There you
That's
go.
true. It took me a long time to learn that, but as the youngest sibling, yeah, that's the only way you could have fun is owning the fact that you're just gonna lose.
hmm
And having fun with the process. Goofing
That's
around
true.
with controls. Yeah.
My brothers didn't go easy on me. It was, well, sorry, you stink at the game. Get better.
As long
I
as
was
you're
like,
not
okay.
angry enough to completely destroy your console,
No,
you still
I
win.
paid money for
I know,
that.
it's still a win. As long as you can play tomorrow, it's still a win.
Yes. Oh goodness. All right, I gotta get going. Bye, guys.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Hey, geek.
Unfortunately, I'm also gonna have to dip because I'm behind on a video that I have to get out of that preview
Understand.
analysis.
Because I wasn't gonna unbox this thing. You just said, "All right, I'm out." So-
I got my own here. I'm gonna have fun unboxing this. Anyways, it was really nice to meet you all, and it was nice to finally be on the Hylian Gamescast. So
Yeah, it was great
I
to
guess
finally
yeah,
It was great to have you on.
It was great meeting you.
yeah.
a fellow Canadian. So
I needed you here to translate Daniel.
It was also nice to see you, RMFH. It's a shame that you're coming on just as I leave, but hey, we
it
can
was
talk
good
some
to-
other time.
For sure.
Yeah, I
Definitely.
guess I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
Bye.
Later.
All right, so I'm hoping to get this. Give me 2 seconds. I think I can get it.
Hurry up, Jesse.
I know.
All right.
We need to cahoot, Jesse.
Coming from the guy that was 2 hours late.
wait a minute.
I think it's misaligned, but I think it'll it's very misaligned. It'll be fine.
It'll all be fine.
Okay, yeah. It's like so lopsided. All right, Daniel, you mentioned you had to go too.
Did I?
I thought you said you had to get to your unboxing. I don't know.
Oh, I'll film it when we're done here. So no worries. It's not going anywhere. Just gonna hang on
Are
to
you
it.
sure?
I'll cradle it a little. I'll just.
There's no escapades.
He'll never let
going
go
on
of
there?
it, but he's also not leaving.
Yes, exactly. No, I gotta dominate in trivia at first, and then
Of course.
and then I'll go.
Okay.
Just crush us. Thanks.
I guess
sorry.
Rick, while I'm trying to set this up, what were your thoughts of any of the gameplay that you may have seen from the gameplay preview events?
I actually haven't watched majority of it yet.
Great, so
I'm trying to
you're-
stay spoiler free.
Well,
So
from-
I've gone through and taken down like items and stuff like that, but I haven't like actually went through and scanned it, you know.
okay.
Mhm.
What about
So.
your overall thought? You haven't been on since like any of the new trailers came out either. So what are your You can give your thoughts on anything. How do you feel about the Hylian shield returning, or the Master Sword?
The Master
just
Sword
give
and
anything.
Hylian Shield.
Give me at least feel like 50 seconds so I can fix this.
The biggest thing I'm excited. The biggest thing I'm excited about is Ganondorf returning. I'm really excited to get in and find out which version of Ganondorf it is. If it's a brand new version, if it's the old one, and I just am geeking off of the design that it's like a mix between Twilight Princess Ganondorf and OOT Ganondorf. From, I don't know, that's just from my perspective, but he just looks so freaking good. All the enemies I'm super excited for, like everybody else. Really hoping they put Dark Nuts in the game.
Oh yeah,
We've yet to see.
Yes.
We've yet to see any more.
all that nutty goodness.
I did see during the previews the armored Bakos. Sick, so sick. I'm hoping that we see a lot more enemies with armor on them, like a Lionel with armor. My gosh. Yeah, that's honestly the biggest things that I'm most excited for. I'm trying to, go into this completely blind, so I just haven't really gone over everything and like actually thought about it yet because of that.
All right. Does anyone else have anything that they want to mention while I'm trying to question?
Sometimes I dream about bread.
I
can
bread is
imagine
if
that being
playing
true.
Minecraft, it's very easy to survive off bread and bread alone.
Oh yeah, you're telling me.
It's a very, very good resource.
I might have a few chests full of bread in the game.
Beautiful.
Stacks.
Beautiful.
So Daniel, I know you're
I think I'm
a
at
fellow
60 stacks right now.
collector of the Switch boxes and stuff like that. How'd your box turn out?
Life.
Is it
What
safe?
gave it away? I won't steal your boxes, but
Hey, anybody in the chat, say something that would generate conversation. Somebody
'Cause I
say
know
something.
you're,
so Natsu says a
Splatoon.
Dark Nut riding an armored Lionel. How do we feel about that?
I'll dig it.
If
I
that
like
was
it. It's
I'm here for
basically
it.
Zelda 2 that won the Island Palace.
Oh yeah, Rebonak. Yeah.
The blue Dark Nut. Or that's an Iron Knuckle in that game, isn't it? Same thing.
Yes. It's weird because Zelda 1 has Dark Nuts and Zelda 2 has Iron Knuckles, but they are
They changed the
pretty
name
much
of
the same.
everything. Everything. They can't even have 𝗙𝗍 in that game. They had to have acne or something. Whatever they called it. And ruined the perfect track record of 𝗙𝗍. 𝗙𝗍 almost had a perfect track record of being in every single Zelda game.
I'll say with Octoroks and Twilight Princess. It's the only Zelda game
Octoroks
without
are thankfully still there. Except for Twilight Princess, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Sadly. Instead you get those spoons.
it was working, but for some reason not. Like on OBS, you can go into like studio mode and you can like set the next window properly, but it didn't set the next window as properly because it was still making them invisible. But overall, it was still set okay. It just wouldn't let you do it if you did not click on it, which does not make sense, but I'm sure someone will know. But anyways, here we are. Hi everybody. I feel like the doctor from The Simpsons, where he has no idea what he's doing, but he's like, hi everybody. Hi patients, you're here for a broken arm, let's cut off that leg.
In fairness, just the OBS misbehaving is like pretty much par for the course, I think, in general, when streaming anything.
Okay, well.
So OBS is not known for behaving well.
Yeah, in that case.
So you're good.
Always
You're
a
good.
pain.
You can go to Kahoot.it, you can use your cell phone, you can use your tablet, you can use your computer, your laptop, your refrigerator, your TV, your shoe, whatever you have. Kahoot.it. You don't need to make a username or a password or anything. Log in. You don't need to. You just need to type in Kahoot.it and then use 9751392, or you can type in this user
Is that
code.
for everybody in the chat as well?
Yeah, everyone in the chat as well.
I'll copy the code into the chat for anybody who wants to see that.
I was about to type it in myself.
You
Oh,
should
actually,
do
it's on
it.
the screen already. Okay, I see it.
There should be a link if I can get to it.
I posted the link in the chat.
Oh, okay. So
yeah.
so far we have
so-
Nasty Natsu, which gross, and then we
Nice.
have 𝗙𝗵𝗏𝗏, which also gross because you're dead. Then we have 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏𝗏, which is great. Then we have Just Kirk. I don't know who that is. We have Bree,
Tingle.
𝗙𝗪𝗋𝗋 bread sauce, which I have a guess of who that is. Again, someone
Say
using
bread sauce.
necromancy and getting 𝗙𝗵𝗏𝗏, Nasty Natsu, again gross. Shout out to us, Just Clark, MJF, which is my favorite AEW wrestler. Not really, it's Kenny Omega, but still. CaptBurgerson, and then we have bread pie. Wait, hold on. We have a mystery here, guys. We have a bread sauce and a emojis for bread and pirate.
I'm the emoji one.
Then who is bread
The
sauce?
true bread pirate.
I don't know. Maybe it's just an ally.
Is everyone else already
It's,
joined?
it's his first mate. It's
Is everyone else already joined?
wait, how many people we got?
Are you
2, 4,
CaptBurgerson?
6, 8. Yeah, that's me. That's me. I think
I'm Tingle.
Rick, okay. you're
bread
Tingle.
sauce is in the chat. Actually,
Bread sauce is okay.
there is a bread sauce in the chat. So
You can see how I got confused.
it looks like we got enough people. We got 11 people who joined, including ourselves. So probably capacity for Kahoot. Isn't there a limit to how many people you can have? I thought the limit was 10.
Well, it sometimes lets us
If you
go
have a-
over
I think
them.
it could go way bigger than that because of classes using it all the time.
Yeah, it can, but just based off of like you have to have like a profile that you're subscribed to it or something. But sometimes we can cheat because it limits it at 10, but if enough people sign on at the same time, then it just lets everyone through. So that's why there's
Interesting.
11 instead of 10 right now, because 2 people signed on around the same time, so it was just like, okay, let them through. Alright, so this is one that we made a couple of weeks ago. I didn't get to finish the one that I was starting on earlier today. But, so this was a couple of weeks ago that I made when we had, I think it was Nintendo Prime, Andreas Restart, and Andre from Game Explain on.
Dang, that's an awesome collection.
So this was one for them. There's a couple Mario questions, a couple Metroid questions, and then the rest are Zelda. A couple Wind Waker.
Well,
I
I'm
think.
outclassed. I've never played Metroid.
Well, it's,
Ooh, I love me a Metroid.
I want to play it.
They're great.
and I'll
they're
probably
great
have to
games.
go shortly after we get done with this as well. But
So
I
won't people in the
digress.
chat who watched that stream also know the answers?
well, it doesn't look like any of the same people are on from that one, since it had to stop at 11 or 10. So people in the chat
Okay.
will know, but they'll be behind, because if you're playing live, then you should be able to see it on your phone. Then
Oh, I see. It's
yeah.
just, yeah.
so you don't have to worry about that. Just pay attention to your phone. Don't pay attention to the live chat. If you're
Yeah.
watching live and playing live, don't wait till I read the question. Answer the question as soon as you can on your screen.
Because you get more points for being faster as well.
Yes,
So
exactly. All right, start. Do. Yeah, see, it says Hylian Gamescast episode 190 instead of 192. Quiz 1 of 10. What is the blue glowing rabbit-like creature called in Breath of the Wild? Remlet, Ravio, Bloopy, Zonai Squirrel. Wow, that
it's
was
totally so nice, girl.
within 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Everyone chose
That's the right
Bloopy.
answer.
Wow,
was
everyone
fast.
got
So
it.
nice scroll is the correct answer.
And this
I
will-
feel like I was so fast, and I'm in 7th.
Yeah, I'm in.
so
I thought I was fast, and I'm in 4th still. These are crazy people.
Yes, people are fast.
They memorize
baby.
the layout of the buttons.
Mm.
Okay.
Next question.
Yeah. I'm just trying to catch my breath from how fast everyone was going. All right, we have Nasty Natsu in first, Bree in second, Tingle third, Bread Pirate fourth, and Ghost Boy 𝗙𝗏𝗏𝗏 in fourth. 2 of 10. What is the Zelda? What is the title of the last Zelda game for Philips CDI? Link Faces of Evil, Zelda's Adventure, The Wand of Gamelon, Nate's Ripened Balloon Trip of Love Tingle Edition. One person chose Link Faces of Evil, 5 people chose Zelda's Adventure, the correct answer. 5 people chose Zelda: The Wand of Gamelon.
The unholy triforce of Zelda games.
Zelda's Adventure is the worst game ever created with the title of Legend of Zelda ever. Period. There's not even a competition.
I don't think it even has Legend of. I think it's
just Zelda's Adventure.
Zelda's
It's easily the worst game ever devised for the series.
Bread Pirates in first. Nasty Natsu dropped to second. Bread Sauce is in third. CaptBurgerson in fourth. Shadow to Us in fifth.
I'm not going to keep that place very long.
Next, 3 of 10. What was the first Zelda game to use Amiibo? Wind Waker HD, Link's Awakening, Hyrule Warriors, Twilight Princess HD. 4 people chose Wind Waker HD. 7 people chose Twilight Princess HD. The correct answer was Twilight Princess HD.
Nice.
Wind Waker HD was going to have the Ganondorf figure that the collector's edition came with as an amiibo, but there was an interview where Al Numa said that he could not figure out what they wanted the amiibo to do if it was included. And there was also the same thing with the Skull Kid statue that came with some of the editions of Majora's Mask 3D, but the same issue, they could not figure out what they wanted Majora's Mask 3D to do in the game, or the Majora's Mask amiibo statue thing to do in the game. So, yeah. I mean, I think personally, like a cool one, since they already added one fishing pond, which the game didn't have any fishing pond.
Oh, you and your fishing.
Have the second fishing pond DLC. That way people would be like, well, you only get to fish if you bought Amiibo. But it's like, well, no, you still got one fishing pond. So I still think it could have worked if they would have.
Yeah, if it was a second one, I guess it would work. I'd still complain, but it'd be better than nothing.
Well, everyone complains. So...
Yeah, if the amiibo is accessible, I wouldn't complain as much. But if it's inaccessible and really ridiculously expensive, like the Wolf Link amiibo, I'm going to start complaining. Then that's on Nintendo.
All right. Next. Wait, no, not next. Nasty Natsu in first. Bread Sauce second. Bread Pirate
so
came down
fast?
to third. CaptBurgerson's back up to fourth. Shadow to Us fifth. Next. 4 of
Speedy
10.
Natsu.
What is the final boss of Metroid Prime 1? Queen Metroid, Metroid Prime, Meta Ridley, Phazon Elite. 1 person chose Queen Metroid. 6 people chose Metroid Prime. 3 people chose Meta Ridley. 1 person chose Phazon Elite.
Those are all bosses in Metroid games.
No, they're not.
So.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, they are.
Okay. No. Yeah,
you were so quick.
You are correct, but I was thinking.
Your confidence, you almost convinced us there.
Your confidence will be your downfall.
Well, I'm the one who wrote the answers, so...
Queen Metroid's the boss of Metroid 2.
Yeah,
Metroid
okay.
Prime is, of course, the boss of Metroid Prime. Phazon Elite
If
is
the captain
a
says
boss
something,
in Metroid
never
Prime.
doubt it. Never doubt the captain.
it's a boss in Metroid Prime, but not the final boss. And Meta Ridley is also, of course, is the penultimate boss.
Shadow to Us dropped off 5th place. Bree came up to 5th place. And everyone else stayed the same. Nasty Natsu is only ahead of...
It is ridiculous how freaking well everybody is doing in this quiz.
Right?
How am I in how am I in third? I've gotten every question right by guessing. This is ridiculous.
Well, you're only down by 100
I'm
and
18 points behind you, Brad.
20 points.
I'm catching up.
Yeah.
Please do. I don't like being in this place. It's too scary.
5 of 10.
I got to eclipse
Which
you.
year did Metroid or Mario Galaxy 2 release? Mario Galaxy 2, which year? 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011. Yes, which year did Metroid...
I'm gonna lose my streak.
Which year did
Oh my
Metroid-
gosh! I guessed it.
Same.
Ah!
Which
I
year,
guessed wrong.
which year did Metroid Galaxy release?
I thought this was a Zelda podcast.
No. So,
You've been duped.
3 chose 2008,
I have.
2 chose 2009, 4 chose 2010 correctly, and 2 chose 2011. 2010 was the correct answer.
Ooh, this is crazy. I've never done this well in a Kahoot. What the
Bread
heck?
Sauce is in first.
How?
Bread Pirates in
Wow.
second, despite getting
Is that
every answer
possible?
correct.
How is Bread Sauce doing so well?
Nasty Natsu's in third. Breeze in fourth. CaptBurgerson, you are in fifth. This is the worst you've ever done, Daniel.
This is the worst I've done in
expected
Kahoot.
Bread
better.
Sauce, I'm very proud of you.
You're
I'm very proud of
fired.
you. From
I
one bread to
expected
another.
better.
I'm very proud. You've done well.
6
the
of
bread
10.
solidarity.
What is the title of the last game Shigeru Miyamoto was the director of?
Director of
The Legend of Zelda 1, The Hyrule Fantasy 1986, A Link to the Past 1991, Ocarina of Time 1998, Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link 1987.
That's the first question I've gotten wrong.
Only one person got it
Actually, wrong
correct.
too.
The last Zelda game Shigeru Miyamoto was the director of was the very first Zelda game. He was only director of one single Zelda game.
Huh.
Hmm.
That's
Shocking.
wild.
Nasty
That is.
Natsu coming in
Very
first.
shocking.
Bread Sauce second. Bread Pirate third. Brie fourth. CaptBurgerson fifth.
Feeling
7
sheepish
of
here,
10.
guys.
When did the first Metroid game release? 1986, 1987, 1988, 1989. Five people
Dang.
chose
Finally.
1986. 5 people chose 1987. 1 person chose 1989. 1986 was the correct answer.
Rip.
Nothing changed.
Rip.
Next question.
Rip.
Big rip.
8 of 10. Who is the first dungeon boss of the first Zelda game? Ganon, Goma, Gleeok, Aquamentus.
I got that. Easy mode. Let's go.
Boom,
I
boom,
love
boom.
that dungeon. That's such a fun dungeon.
Who may
Before the game gets
also
crazy.
be a dungeon or a dungeon boss in Tears of the Kingdom. The correct answer was Aquamentus. One person.
I hope to see Aquamentus in Tears of the Kingdom.
I
would
think
love
that's
to
That'd
see
be
it.
so
I'm
good.
going to go on a limb and say they're reusing all of the dungeon bosses from the very first Zelda game.
All right, Dodongo's back. Some of those are. I wonder
Well,
how they'll
maybe
translate
like
into 3D
a
though.
giant
Big Dodger is a
not
weird
just Dodongo.
is a weird boss.
One person chose
Yeah,
Goma.
that
2 people
would
chose
be-
Gleeok.
Odd.
8 people chose Aquamentus. Aquamentus was the correct answer. Again, nothing changes. Be faster, guys. Natsu,
I'm trying.
lose on purpose to make it interesting.
throw the match. We're 8 questions in. I think Natsu's gonna hold on to that top
Next.
spot.
Next question. 9 of 10. When did Donkey Kong Country Returns first release? 2009, 2010, 2011, Andre's birthday.
It was on Andre's birthday, wasn't it? No, I joke.
It's the only
That was a
correct
good
answer.
game. Actually, I really liked that game.
This is
but I
the
don't
Wii
own
version.
it. Yes.
I'm falling off the
people
podium
chose-
now. There's no way I'm staying.
5 people chose 2009. 4 people chose correctly 2010. 1 person chose 2011. And 1 person chose Andre's birthday. Was that you, Rick? Was it you? Are you throwing away your answers?
No, of course not.
Your silence speaks volumes.
We see
It
through
did
your
not change
lies.
again. It's still a close match. I mean, honestly, only Bread Sauce and Natsu have a chance of winning. But
Wow, I've kept my spot. That's incredible.
no, actually, no.
Rip me.
Yeah, no.
I'm still in third. I'll take it.
Yeah, you're still in third. All right, so next question. Y'all have a chance of winning if Bread Sauce and Nasty Natsu just don't answer at all. So, if they just threw their phone in the gutter,
Yeah,
y'all
like they would do. Yeah.
With the
That's
chances of
absolutely
that.
gonna happen, right?
All
Yeah.
right, 10 of 10. Let's go.
All right.
What is the first game to feature a version of Dark Link, Shadow Link, or Link Shadow? Link to the Past, Game Boy Advance re-release / Four Swords, Ocarina of Time, Oracle of Ages, Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link.
I like the question. Good question.
All 11 people chose Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link.
Yeah.
Good job.
This is the worst I've ever done on Kahoot.
Third place goes
True
to
story.
Bread Pirate. Bread Sauce comes in 2.
GG.
And Nasty Natsu comes in first. Good job,
Natsu
Natsu.
and the Bread Boys. Natsu and the Bread Boys.
Congratulations. And with that, I'll because I do have to go, but before I do, because Rick joined on late, and there's the dog letting me know that everyone else is here too. But Rick, since you weren't able to let us know at the very beginning, why don't you go ahead and let people know who you are and where they may find you, and send you fruitcakes and pizza and cheeseburgers.
I'm RMFH, and I make a ton of Zelda theories, guides, and countdowns. You can find me at RMFH Gaming on all socials.
Okay, that was very quick. Thank you. And in that case, if
And
everyone else
go
wants
watch
to be,
his points of interest video because it's so good.
Please.
It's a
Thank you.
two-part
I
video
appreciate it.
on Rick's channel. Points of interest in Tears of the Kingdom. Highly, highly, highly recommend.
Shout out to
Would you
Lazy
say-
Garden
Go
Gamer
sub to this
who
man.
assisted me on that entire both of those 2 videos.
Daniel,
Great
would you
guy.
say you highly recommend?
Yes, for this highly anticipated sequel.
All right. If everyone else would like to be as brief as Rick, I guess we have a few more moments to go around. Red Pirate, would you like to remind everyone where they can come and check out some of your stuff if they may not know?
My name is Bread, and I make videos on YouTube.
Okay.
Go sub to Bread Pirate, everybody. If you like facts, if you wanted to see a man who can pull out 88 facts from a Tears of the Kingdom trailer in less than 24 hours,
Holy cow.
sub to Bread Pirate.
I got 4 hours of sleep that night.
Oh my gosh, I can't.
Oh,
imagine.
it's rough.
I'm gonna be everyone's hype man as we're sending off.
The question is, can you be a hype man for yourself?
No. I'm glad
I
to
gotta
be
do
back
it for
here.
you now.
Yeah, that's how it works, right? No, so many people ask me, they're like, "Why aren't you on the
What's that?
podcast anymore?" And I need everyone to know there was no drama because a lot of people are like, "Did you guys have a falling out?" And I'm like, "No, Jess and I still talk very regularly. There was no falling out."
I mean,
So
what
I'm
do you
still
think's
here
gonna
to
happen
prove it.
when you lock somebody in your basement for a couple years?
Oh, nothing bad, probably. So, no, but I'm Daniel. I'm CaptBurgerson, and I also make Zelda videos. I occasionally dabble in other topics, but mostly I talk about level design and how, through sheer level design, the game teaches you how it works, things like that. So we talk a lot about dungeons in Zelda because I think those are just so good. And I also stream twice a week at least. So when Tears of the Kingdom comes out, if you want to come hang out and have a cozy time, come drop by.
All right, and I am literally about to walk out the door, so I apologize for having to end it, but have a good
Sub
time.
to Game Over,
everyone.
Jesse.
Everybody.
Thank you all for coming in. I really appreciate it. Have a great Halloween, everyone, and I'll talk to you next week.